Queen Mary, where you going, come on? Don't ask me nothing, child. Give me match and oil. Bars and jailhouses where the money is. Don't ask me nothing, child. Just give me match and trash. Bars and jailhouses where the money is. Where you going, come on? Bottom belly, tell me where you going, come on? Don't ask me nothing, child. Just give me match and oil. Bars and jailhouses where the money is. Don't ask me nothing, child. Just give me match and trash. Bars and jailhouses where the money is. Where you going, come on? Bottom belly, tell me where you going, come on? Don't ask me nothing, child. Just give me match and oil. Bars and jailhouses where the money is. Don't ask me nothing, child. Just give me match and trash. Bars and jailhouses where the money is.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. What is up? What is going on? Salute to everybody in the building. Thank you so much for pulling up. You already know it's your boy MarkydanTheHistorian coming to you with another stream for Democracy 101. I want to say a big shout out to everybody in the chat. I already see my brother BVO. Everybody that comes through, please smash that like button. As you already know, we're trying to grow the channel, and we're trying to grow our channel within the pro-democracy movement. Me and my brother AC, we believe in fighting back against fascism and fighting for the principles of liberal democracy. And we got some big news, some big topics to cover today. But let me come to my co-host AC. How are you doing today, my brother?
I'm doing good, man. I'm doing good. Just can't wait to get into the meat and potatoes of this cook.
Absolutely. Man, we are in some serious times. We are in some serious ass times. I talk about, or rather, I don't talk about it, but I know about it. No, I do talk about it. I talk about World War II a lot. I consider myself to be kind of like an expert on it because of how obsessed I am with just studying the conflict and the lead up to it. Donald Trump does not know, or obviously he doesn't understand, like the Pandora's box he's opening when the United States and the executive of the United States green lights illegal invasions of other countries, and then turns around and talks about attacking allies if need be, so that you could take their natural resources. What I'm seeing from from the president of the United States and this Trump administration is like, I can't say it's shocking, AC, because obviously we've seen regime change wars before. We've seen us go into other countries and pillage and grape their people of their natural resources. But it's like the level of brashness and openness about it. Like Dick Cheney, for like everybody that I know, does not have a good thing to say about Dick Cheney. Any adult that I know who grew up and who was living during the time of George Bush does not have a good thing to say about Dick Cheney. For good reason. He took us into Iraq and lied and said Saddam had weapons of mass destruction as a pretext to go in there and invade. And then a decade later, you saw the rise of ISIS and the Iraqi civil war that cost over 1 million lives. We did this in Afghanistan. I mean, this fucking guy took us into Afghanistan. The Taliban and the Mujahideen hated Bin Laden. They hated Al Qaeda. But Arabs with guns, we gotta go get them. They're terrorists. They're sanctioning attacks against the United States of America. They say death to America. We gotta go get them. And for like all the criticism that they deserve to do that, and for all the criticism that they deserve for going and doing that, at least they were smart enough to lie. At least they were smart enough to number one, go to Congress for a declaration, for a use of military for an authorization of the use of military force. Like these people, Donald Trump, the day after they snatched up Maduro, or matter of fact, it might have just been a couple hours after they snatched up Maduro, he stands there in Mar-a-Lago and says, "We're gonna go back after the oil. We're gonna go in there. We're gonna take back the oil that they stole from us." It's like we're living in a Chappelle Show clip. I know that these people are stupid and incompetent. They're not even stupid enough to lie about war crimes. They're not even, and then what makes this even worse, AC, is the fact that we haven't even like done the regime change yet. Like Donald Trump is up there calling down all this big stuff, talking about we finna go in there, we're gonna get Chevron and their people to rebuild the aging infrastructure that the Venezuelans didn't know how to use in the first place. So we're gonna go down there. It's gonna be great for the American people. I do not ever in my life, and I really think this is going to be the death of the Republican Party. Okay, I know people might say you're being like too hyperbolic or you're being too extreme. Like what's the word I'm looking for? Tides turn, tide shift. Like anything can happen in 4 years. But I don't think like the American people can fall for the rules again. Republican administrations, when they get in office, they cut taxes for the rich, and then they launch regime change wars. Point blank, period. Eisenhower cut taxes for the rich, and then he took us into Vietnam because because we wanted the poppy seeds in the south of Vietnam. So they said let's create this state of South Vietnam and we'll sell it to the American people. We gotta fight back against the commies. And then 20 years later, 50,000 dead, hundreds of millions of American taxpayer dollars wasted because the North Vietnamese just pushed down as soon as we left and took it all over. Then the same thing happened with George Bush. They cut taxes for the rich, and then they took us into Iraq and Afghanistan. Donald Trump cut taxes for the rich with the big, beautiful bill. He literally gave kids on school lunch. He gave people on Medicare his giant orange ass to kiss. And now he's taking us into Venezuela. And now, according to Trump and Stephen Miller, Cuba, Greenland, a NATO ally, and even Colombia could be next. Let me just play this quick clip before I let you come in, AC. Give me 1 sec.
A past interview with Howard Stern now.
There be an election. Let me, if you give me the floor for 30 seconds, let me tell you what we are doing here, Jake. This whole period that happened after World War II, where the West began apologizing and groveling and begging
I don't even
and
know,
engaging these
honestly,
mass
what you're talking
reparation
about right
schemes.
now.
What I'm talking about, Jake, is the idea. And by the way, you do. I know you love doing that smarmy thing, Jake, and I was hoping to be better than that this time.
I asked you about if there should be an election.
Exactly
I asked you if there would be an election in Venezuela. That's what I asked. I said, why was the president so quick to dismiss Machado? We went into the country and we seized the leader of Venezuela.
Damn straight we did.
And I'm saying,
we're not going to let.
So is the U.S. going to have new elections?
Jake, is that we're not going to let Tin Pot communist dictators send rapists into our country, send drugs into our country, send weapons into our country.
Okay.
And we're not going to let a country fall into the hands of our adversaries. The priority right now, as the president has made clear, is a judicious, thoughtful, careful transition process to secure a great future for Venezuela and to secure a great future for America.
I have, like, bro, I swear to God, Stephen Miller, that's somebody I would really play with. I would do something to him if I saw him in real life. I'm dead serious about that. I don't give a damn how YouTube feel about me saying that. I would smack the shit out of him if I saw him in real life. Anyway, but what Jake Tapper, who was the CNN reporter who was speaking to Stephen Miller, Deputy White House Chief of Staff, and from what reports are saying, he is one of the lead men when it comes to planning this operation, as well as the. I mean, I don't even know if we could call it planning for the day after. These people have no fucking planning. But Jake Tapper was asking Stephen Miller, okay, you've gone in there. You've ousted Maduro. You went in there. You went in with Delta Force operators. You raided his compound. You snatched up him and his wife. Okay. You've removed him from power. You then say, and this is from Donald Trump. He says that Venezuela is going to send them 50 million barrels of oil. I mean, like, I don't know what, like, I'm just not even, no. But what Jake Tapper is asking about, he says, okay, you've removed Maduro, but Maduro's vice president is still there. You guys said you do not recognize Maduro because he stole the 2024 election, which I agree. Based on reports I've seen, I think Maduro did steal the 2024 election and then used violence to stay in power. But removing Maduro did nothing. Maduro's vice president, Delcy Rodriguez, is still there. And Donald Trump is talking all this big crap about oil. Delcy Rodriguez is saying, nah, buddy, you can't have nothing. And she and AC, I just want to also say her situation is so precarious because she does not actually have control of the military or the internal security forces. It's the it's Venezuelan army headquarters who was loyal to Maduro, and then it's the foreign minister and the Secretary of Defense. I can't remember his name, but both of those individuals had $20 million bounties on their head. Okay, so they were supposed to someday in the future, if Donald Trump gets his way, they might be getting snatched up and brought to the U.S. for trial as well. But as of right now, these individuals are still in charge of Venezuela. And what you've seen, AC, we've seen, because they went and snatched Maduro, the regime is repressing their people even harsher. They have and I wish I had a picture of it. I forgot to get a picture. They have these people in Venezuela called colectivos. Essentially, they're like secret police. Their job is to go into the streets on bikes and beat the hell out of people or murder them if they're protesting against Maduro. Or just murder people in general to strike fear in them. And salute to my guy, Juan Claudio. So these people are being controlled by the people around Delcy Rodriguez. So Delcy Rodriguez has to walk a very fine line because a lot of those people believe in are hardliners when it comes to Chavez's policy of socialism and the Bolivarian Revolution to ward off American imperialism in Venezuela. If she capitulates to Donald Trump, there's a chance she could get killed. Okay? And these gentlemen I just named will perform a coup and will just have their forces take over the country any damn way. But before we move on to Maduro's side of it, what's going on with him in New York, AC, I want to get your reaction to everything we've been hearing. But by the way, Trump and Marco Rubio have also said that the U.S. is going to blockade Venezuela, which, in my understanding, that is illegal. That is an offensive military action. They would need approval from Congress to do that. But just reading right here, if the U.S. decided to blockade Venezuela and not allow them to sell their oil anywhere, this is an article from the New York Times. It says Venezuela braces for economic collapse from U.S. blockade. Venezuela could lose the bulk of its oil exports revenues this year if the U.S. Blockade stays in place, according to internal government estimates, a scenario that would set off a humanitarian crisis. Oil exports accounts for about 40% of Venezuela's public revenue, according to estimates from Francisco Rodriguez, an expert on the Venezuelan economy at the University of Denver. Mr. Rodriguez, who is not related to Delcy Rodriguez, added that the oil industry's true economic impact is even larger, since much of the country's remaining economic activity is financed by revenue from crude sales. Most of the brunt of the collapse of the oil revenue would be felt by the Venezuelan population, said Mr. Rodriguez, the economist. Quote, we would see a massive recession, he said. You will either get a famine or a mass migration crisis. So you're either going to have what happened in Libya after Barack Obama went in there and did what he did to Gaddafi, or you're going to have what we had the last 4 or 5 years, which Republicans have been saying nonstop. This is the Biden administration's fault. We had a migration crisis. This is going to be on Trump. And just one more thing before I let you go, AC. This is all happening with the backdrop of one of the Republican members of the House. His name was, I think, Representative La Malfa. I think that's how you say it. He passed away yesterday. God rest his soul. I don't wish that on anybody or their family. But this now takes the Republicans in House, their majority, from 219, or excuse me, it's going to be 219 with Marjorie Taylor Greene leaving to 218, which means they are just on the edge. And then you're going to have his special election coming up. He's from California. You can only imagine how Californians are feeling right now about Donald Trump. And then you have Marjorie Taylor Greene resigning. Marjorie Taylor Greene was a hardliner in her district against no new wars, about not wasting taxpayer dollars on new wars, about not sending American sons and daughters to die in foreign countries so that oil companies can split up the profits. I wonder, whoever the Republican is going to be that's going to campaign for her district, AC, how does he go to them? And how does he keep Donald Trump's endorsement, which he's going to have, which by getting Trump's endorsement, he's going to have to go out there and say, we're going after narco terrorists and we need Greenland. Greenland is great. Like that, I don't know how you are going to win those voters that Marjorie Taylor Greene won over, because he's going to have to back Donald Trump's policies. So the Republicans right now could be in danger of losing the majority before they even get to November, just off of this bullshit. But AC, I was talking for a long time, brother. Let me get your thoughts and your reactions on what's been going on.
Well, first, let me start with this. There's nothing in the rule books that says Maduro people won't just go ahead and unalive this lady and take over. That's a real thing. We also have to look at this. Many European countries are reacting off of this move that Donald Trump just did. And many countries are mulling over, not the fact to come here, but they're thinking about and trying to form some sort of union that says this: Donald Trump, you step outside the U.S., we're going to snatch you up. The same shit you just did Maduro, the world views you in the same light as Maduro, because you're using ICE against your own people. You used the National Guard against your own people. No one in their right fucking mind with common sense doesn't believe that the Trump administration, Stephen Miller, and maybe some other foreign entities were behind Charlie Kirk and other things. So at the end of the day, you're turning the military, you're turning the Justice Department, and you're doing all of this stuff against your own people. So what's the difference? What is really the difference? So at the end of the day, these other countries are saying, oh, you want to play that game, and this is the stuff that you're doing. When you haven't even been, dealt with about the 100 or so people that you unalived off these drug raids that you haven't showed any evidence for. So what's to stop us from now coming to get you as soon as you step outside your country? And at the end of the day,
Which, by the way, AC, it's being reported by U.S. officials that the operation to go snatch and grab Maduro, and then we saw a bunch of missiles firing into the city. 75 civilians are dead.
Okay,
so add that to the 80 people that we've already killed in the Caribbean. That's almost 200 civilians.
You put it like this. The body count is rising. The body count is rising. In countries like Spain, Germany, and France, and even some Scandinavian countries, if you should dare try to go after Greenland, the minute you step outside the USA, you're going to be locked up, Donald Trump. That's just the reality that this country is going to have to face. Because we had the opportunity to do it, but we had a feckless Justice Department that was more concerned with the optics of impropriety, or just the optics itself. Okay, the optics is where Nixon got away with his crimes. The optics are where Donald Trump has got away with some of his crimes. So the optics just don't work anymore. We need to enforce the law, not be afraid of how it may look if we do the fucking job that we were put in place to do. You're not concerned about, how it looks to arrest some corporate CEO, Bernie Madoff, to just name a few. There was no concern in him. There was no concern in many of the other high-level bankers and investment people, Wall Street execs and stuff like that, who went to jail. But we have to be concerned about the guy whose sworn duty is to be the chief executive, the head guy, the guy who says, yeah, I fight for you. I fight for you on the global stage, and I fight for you on the national stage. And you're doing neither nor. So why should we give a fuck? Now, as far as the whole thing with Maduro, to a certain degree, where we are with him is, it's really, really going to be hard for this country to justify anything if the courts go ahead and prosecute this dude off an illegal, in this country, this shit would be called illegal search and seizure. You cannot go and perform a drug raid without the warrant. So if we're going to try this guy in America using American law, this case is dismissed. Because you just can't go fucking do shit like that.
Actually, I looked at it, or I was about to call you BVO. I looked at it, AC. So apparently Title 10, which is the same statute which states that which gives the president the power to federalize national guards. If you look in there, apparently there's a clause which states that uh, I don't want to be inaccurate, but essentially it states that it doesn't matter how they got you as long as they got you within the court and that you are indicted, which is
Okay.
crazy. But they
So
and
here's the thing.
they reestablished that precedence with Manuel Noriega.
So here's the thing. Whether you establish it or don't establish it, it comes down to giving a person, and when you have a really, really good lawyer. Now, in the Noriega situation, right? In the Noriega situation, you had a definitive link. And that's where people have to understand the difference between what the charges are against Maduro and what the charges were against Noriega. And when you look at the charges and you look at the testimony of those who were caught here and those who dry snitched on people over there, you see the direct link. Under that, those circumstances will allow you to use Title 10. But this Trump administration has made no connections, no links. You're just saying shit for the same fucking reason where you just started to say shit to try to go after Letitia James and the former FBI director. You're using the same mentality and the same ideologies. So therefore, on a legal precedence, you can try to use it, but that don't mean that the holes between the judge just asking legal precedent questions are going to be poked so big that the judge has no legal remorse but to say, I can't move forward in this trial. I can't. Bring me back something I can fucking work with. And you heard judges tell the Trump administration this shit over and over again. You can go way back to their first term where they would pull these cases, want to do shit, and then the judge is just looking at them like, your evidence is laughable. Bring me back something if you want to go ahead with these charges. I'm willing to entertain this case. I'm willing to let you guys argue this case. But as it is right here, no. And I would strongly suggest you guys get this shit together or I will start to make referrals.
But just outside of that, AC, because you are correct, Maduro will have the opportunity to challenge his arrest, the legality of it. But not only that, Maduro, or at least a sovereign head of state, has immunity, and that's that's an understanding of our law, and that's in Congress with international law, that sovereign heads of state have absolute immunity.
And
okay?
This is why.
One more thing, AC, and this contrasts with Manuel Noriega from Maduro in that when we went to Panama, we got everybody. We got Noriega's whole regime out of there. We ousted all of them, and then we put in place our own dictator, and we even had this man sworn in on a U.S. air base. I think in I'm not sure where, but we had him sworn in on a U.S. air base. The difference here, Maduro's regime is still in place, and why they and one more thing, my bad, I left out a step. The court will usually defer to the executive branch when it comes to recognizing a sovereign head of state. So if the executive branch says that person is an illegitimate head of state, yada yada yada, the court will take that and say, okay, we side with the executive branch in this case. Now, if Maduro is going through his due process, whilst Donald Trump is doing deals with Maduro's vice president, the judge might have to throw out the whole thing. Because how are y'all in one breath going to say that this man is an illegitimate leader and the illegitimate sovereign head of Venezuela, But then in the same breath, y'all are negotiating and cutting diplomatic trade deals with said regime.
And that's my point. That's my point. That's why I'm like, bro, this nigga's gonna be home within 30 days because I can't see the 11th District of New York completely fucking up its credibility for the Trump administration. I just don't see it. And I would be shocked that the judge and everyone else would be willing to do that. I'm even shocked that they were even able to fucking procure an indictment. Like you prove no evidence. How the fuck did you get this indictment? Just like when the insurance lady didn't know, certain details about the indictment that she was supposed to get for the former FBI director, James Comey. So you have to look at it like this. When you spoke about the immunity aspect of it, I don't know if people remember when Donald Trump violated the White House when he had Erdogan come up there, and Erdogan's detail on the White House lawn fucked up all of those protesters. You clearly see these dudes beating the shit out of them, hitting them with their own signs and breaking signs and shit like that.
Who he brought up there?
Erdogan, Egyptian leader, if I'm correct, if that's his name.
Yeah.
Do you feel what I'm saying? The Egyptian dictator. He brought him up there, and his security detail fucked up all of those protesters. You couldn't prosecute them because they had diplomatic immunity, and as soon as they did that, they got the fuck up out of the country.
Yep.
So I just want people just to remember that was okay with the Trump administration, because he then said he wanted to invite them back, and he did invite them back. So at the end of the day, you just have to look at how this administration works. Will this lady from Venezuela survive this thing? I don't know. But I'm pretty much like this. She knows she's witnessing in real time her life expectancy. And if this man doesn't come back, her life expectancy is going to be cut horribly short. So if she's not thinking of a plan B, then, hey, listen, you know that's the slaughterhouse.
Huh.
If you're gonna let them walk you right into that building, that's all on you, lady. But if I was you, I would be thinking about my survival plan B and figure out what's going on next. You know what I'm saying? As far as this government trying
This
to
is
say,
this is a picture of the Colectivo. This is the private security. This is the secret police that Maduro used to run Venezuela. They will cut her head off if she mess around.
So you look at this. You're claiming you're going to go in there, you're going to take over the country, run the country, put someone like Marco Rubio as the head of running this country. And what do you think that's going to do for you? I think people need to understand one thing, and this may be a little bit off. I'm trying to figure out what is Marco Rubio's end game.
Cuba.
Because you think about, you look
It's
at
gotta
Marco
be
Rubio.
Cuba.
Politically, his end game is Cuba.
Absolutely, yeah, absolutely. I think that's the whole there's. I talked about it on another show we did. There's something in the GOP called the Cuban right. Most of them are based out of Florida. Oh, they're essentially like the new generation of the war hawks in the Republican Party. Only instead of going after Middle Eastern countries and the terrorists, they want to go after the Latin American countries, like the Cubas, specifically because it's something that's been ingrained in them, AC. You got to remember, like the CIA used and abused Cubans with the dream and the idea. Well, if hey, you go kill this guy, hey, go put this bomb in this car. Well, one of these days we'll go back and get Castro. We promise. Hey, go snatch up this baby. Hey, maybe maybe tomorrow we might go get Castro. So that's a promise that's almost been generational, and it's ingrained in them. They have to go back and get Castro.
Well,
And now they put themselves in the U.S. political they have political power in the U.S.
Marco Rubio to me is positioning himself, in my opinion, for the biggest thing in his life. Because here's my issues, right?
Mm.
A a person says something that's degrading to you and who you are and your people. And he says these degrading things about you over and over and over again. Completely humiliates you. You feel what I'm saying?
Mm.
Then you turn around after not endorsing him, not being one of the people to bend the knee. You and Rick, I forgot the dude from Texas. The two of you are like F this guy, along with Rand Paul and Ron Paul. Very few, like maybe 4 or 5 Republicans was like, I'm not dealing with this dude in no capacity. Some got out of it, some stayed in it. Again, for me, you're putting up with all of this just for Cuba. It makes it hard for me to believe that. Now, how you get there, maybe how you get there for me is you're setting yourself up to be the whistleblower. You look at how Marco Rubio talked prior to this, during Trump's before he got in the office. He was one of the loudest voices out there, and he was absolutely correct in what he was saying about this dude. Then you start working for the guy you was absolutely correct about. What is your political gains? In my opinion, you're setting yourself up to be the great whistleblower. You're going to go down in history. You're looking at this historic moment. The residuals of it could be these war hawk things. You feel what I'm saying? Because now you chopped a whole complete faction out of that party. And you're the spearhead. That means what you say has leverage. How they vote is off of what you say. And I think that's what Marco Rubio wants. He wants that Rush Limbaugh type power. He wants that, that Bill O'Reilly power, that Sean Hannity power. I don't need the direct political power. I just need to control these people. Because if I can control these people and control this movement, I can control how, or I'm always at the table of how the party moves and how we're gonna say it. And then my voice and my movement has more power than forever being known as I bent the knee, stuck my head up this man's ass, little Marco. I think Marco Rubio wants his get back off that comment, off that whole entire humiliation. And that's just me. That's just the way I see him moving. That's just me.
I think that Marco Rubio, um, just like Pam Bondi and even Pete Hegseth, because Believe it or not, at one point in time, these people were actual public servants. They actually believed in our democracy. They were actual civil servants who stood against Donald Trump. Even Pete Hegseth, like if you go back 10 years
Yes.
and listen to Pete Hegseth says all these things. Like we will like the we do not take illegal orders from our commander in chief. He even criticizes Donald Trump for some of the drone strikes for going ahead and killing Suleimani. I think his name was Soleimani, the Iranian general.
Yeah.
And then in Marco Rubio's case, like he was a never Trumper.
Yes.
The only thing like I could be thinking in my head is number one, Marco is like I believe Marco Rubio wants to be president one day.
And
but
how do you get there?
To know.
How do you get the Republican voters behind you after you were a never Trumper, you capitulated, you worked in his administration?
That's what I'm saying.
The last way to do it, because after this whole Trump thing, after everybody, we see the emperor has no clothes on, you have to be the whistleblower. That's your end game. That's where your power is.
No, but Tommy, it's too late. Like people are gonna look you in your eye, are gonna look at you for the worm that you are. You're he's a worm.
So you think the Republican Party
turned his back? No, but it's not even. I don't even think it's gonna be a serious, or at least an establishment Republican GOP attached to Donald Trump in the way it is now by the end of November.
No,
I think they're going to get killed.
No, it's not. It's absolutely not. And what I'm saying is this: if Marco Rubio is as smart as we know him to actually be, we know this man to be a smart dude. That's why it was amazing that you went from never Trumper and speaking honestly and candid about the dude, and then joining his administration and then bending the knee and sitting at the table and saying some of the goofy shit you've been saying about this guy. Okay, so you already shown your wormness. You've already shown that you're a worm. How do you get that back? Is, in my opinion, you become the whistleblower. Once you become the whistleblower,
I don't think you ever get it back, though, AC. I don't think you ever
let you become the whistleblower. You say what you have to say, and guess what works with every person in the public space? Time. Time is your best friend, because within the public space, the memory of the people is very, very short. It's your actual 15 minutes of fame. 15 minutes later, they're not thinking about you because there's this other big thing that just happened. You feel what I'm saying? So you have Marco Rubio as the whistleblower. Then you drop the fucking Epstein files. Now we're also looking at the 2026 midterm elections. These are the three bullets, or however you want to phrase it, that kills the MAGA movement, just completely dismantles all of Trump's power and leaves it to his loyalists, his most loyal loyalties. People like Thomas Massey. You're going to see Marjorie Taylor Greene come out, because if she can bounce back, Marco Rubio can bounce back, because she was also like another Trumper as well going into the first administration. She was critical of Trump as well. All of them were. So at the end of the day, if she can bounce back,
who was critical of Trump?
Marjorie Taylor Greene.
In the first administration?
Yes, sir.
You gotta show me that.
Bro, if you go back and look at when Donald Trump was running, when he was making some of the comments and some of the things that were coming out about him, whatever, Marjorie Taylor Greene had her concerns, because she said, I have a little girl. And would I want a leader like that trying my would I want a leader like that and my daughter to look up to him. As soon as he was elected, she was one of the first people to snap. But leading up to that, if you look at the majority, 98% of the Republicans, if you look at the 98% of the Republicans when Trump was running for president, they had no faith in him. They would either say stuff on small little podcasts, but they wouldn't come on Fox News and necessarily say something unless you were, I can't remember the Texas governor dude that started to run, Marco Rubio, and it was like a handful of other people. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And
let me play this. Let me play this clip. AC. The first one is gonna be Donald Trump. I mean, just him completely contradicting himself versus the campaign trail versus now.
Colombia is very sick too, run by a sick man who likes making cocaine and selling it to the United States, and he's not going to be doing it very long, let me tell you. We believe that the job of the United States military is not to wage endless regime change wars. You have to do something with Mexico. Mexico has to get their act together because they're pouring through Mexico, and we're going to have to do something. The cartels are running Mexico, whether you like it or not. It's not nice to say, but the cartels are running.
So now the cartels are running
we will
Mexico.
Stop racing to topple foreign, and you understand this, foreign regimes that we know nothing about, that we shouldn't be involved with.
There's been protesters killed in Iran.
If they start killing people like they have in the past, I think they're going to get hit very hard by the United States. Regime change in Iraq, regime change in Libya, regime change in Syria, and every other globalist disaster for half a century. We need Greenland from the standpoint of national security, and Denmark is not going to be able to do it. We're getting out of the nation-building business and instead focusing on creating stability in the world. The American dominance in the Western Hemisphere will never be questioned again. Stupid foreign wars in countries that you've never heard of. This Tuesday is your chance to stand up and declare that you're not going to take.
I mean, just a ginormous pile of just buckets, not even, but truckloads worth of horse manure. Then, I just want to play this clip. Like, these people, it's like they're it's like they're worse than the worst movie, like DC Marvel movie villains. Like those globalists that hold together and how can we rob these people, and to hell with those people, it's our money and we'll kill them all of it. Like, that's how they sound to me. I want y'all to hear Stephen Miller one more time, and then Lindsey Graham, who's the South Carolina senator who is up for re-election next year. By the way, he is getting killed in the polls, but I want y'all to hear them.
We live in a world in which you can talk all you want about international niceties and everything else, but we live in a world, in the real world, Jake, that is governed by strength, that is governed by force, that is governed by power. These are the iron laws of the world that have existed since the beginning of time. The real question is, by what right does Denmark assert control over Greenland? What is the basis of their territorial claim? The United States should have Greenland as part of the United States. There's no need to even think or talk about this in the context that you're asking of a military operation. Nobody's going to fight the United States militarily over the future of Greenland.
You just wait for Cuba. Cuba is a communist dictatorship that's killed priests and nuns. They've preyed on their own people. Their days are numbered. We're going to wake up one day, I hope in 26, in our backyard, we're going to have allies in these countries doing business with America, not narco-terrorist dictators killing Americans.
I pray and hope that 2026 will be the year that we make Iran great again.
Like even that, like that clip where he just pulled the hat out and said, and looks into the camera with that smug little smirk. I pray 2026 will be the year we make Iran great again. Like I don't see the GOP. And then Katie Miller, Stephen Miller's wife, I had this up earlier, puts out this picture saying soon with Greenland covered in an American flag. And I would also like to point the audience's attention to this tweet from Stephen Miller made a couple days before the 2024 election, where he says, "This isn't complicated. If you vote for Kamala, Liz Cheney becomes defense secretary. We invade a dozen countries. Boys in Michigan are drafted to fight boys in the Middle East. Millions die. We invade Russia. We invade nations in Asia. World War III, nuclear winter." I will do something to this guy. Like, he's not even a weasel. He's not even a snake. I don't he's like a coronavirus. He's something that enters your bloodstream and he makes you sick, AC. I don't know where you find an individual like this. And like, I don't want to say that word. I don't want to say that phrase or what I was just going to say. But Marco Rubio, then after a group of senators who were like, what the F is he and the president talking about? They went to Marco Rubio to ask him, and Marco Rubio told them, oh, we're just using some tough talk. The president is actually more interested in buying Greenland. We're just using it's just tough talk. It's just tough talk. Calm down, dude. Or like Donald Trump liked to say in South Park, calm down, guy. But AC, and then on top of the fact, this is Tulsi Gabbard, just put out a statement talking about securing borders and confronting narco terrorists and dangerous drug cartels. In 2019, back when she was a Democrat, she comes out and says we need to stay the hell out of Venezuela. These people have no integrity at all whatsoever. And just like Katie Miller is saying soon, I hope to see this image really soon. All of these people need to go to jail for a weak, pathetic weasel like Stephen Miller, who would never have the nuts to pick up a weapon and go fight. For him to be out here saying, yeah, we need to keep sending our sons and daughters to die. What's wrong with you? It's about strength. Who cares about political niceties? We are the real superpower. We're going to go into Greenland and we're going to take it. What right does Denmark have to hold Greenland? Denmark's not going to fight us for Greenland. I swear to God, I would do something to this guy. Like, every time I see him, he wipes his ass on the memory of all those great Americans who built this country. All those great, even the racist ones, even the Teddy Roosevelts and the FDRs and the Abraham Lincolns who yes, he freed slaves, but he had his own opinions on the black race. They spit on their memory every single day. All the work we did from all the way back in civil rights, from when Fred Hampton got murdered for trying to start a rainbow coalition of island folks and white folks and black folks in the U.S. These people spit in their face every time I see them, and I cannot wait. I cannot wait till I see this image in real life. Okay? The rest of them could get away. I can accept Donald Trump getting away. I expect him to get away. But these two so-and-sos I got on my screen, AC, I need to see them in some orange jumpsuits with some handcuffs getting arraigned before a judge. I gotta see it before I die. But what's your reaction, AC, to the discussions about going after Greenland? Oh, and by the way, we also seized a Russian oil tanker today. So what's your reaction to all of this?
Well, The thing is this. I'm just perplexed at number one, who's the military leaders outside of Pete Hegseth. I'm talking about the generals, the admirals, and all of them.
And that's one more thing, AC. I'm going to vote for the guy who comes in 2028 and says that he is going to repeal and replace the War Powers Act. The War Powers Act of 1973 is an absolute bullshit piece of paper that strips the Congress of its responsibility to declare war and to carry out war. If the Congress votes and it comes to 54 senators voting for the War Powers Resolution, the president can literally just turn around and say, "Suck my fucking dick. I'm gonna veto it," and that's that. Like,
But
there's no real power to stop this man unless
but
you have a super majority.
at the end of the day, I believe like this. You go ahead and you fuck around with Greenland. The minute you step outside this country, you're going to be arrested. You're talking about fucking with a Russian oil tanker now. The minute you step outside this country, you might find yourself and your whole security detail, even if it's in one of your properties, you might find yourself and your entire detail poisoned. Fucking around with Russia. They good for shit like that.
Yep.
So you don't want to do what you're doing against South America, then try to fuck with Europe in going after Greenland. And you just can't, you know, you have to be pretty fucking stupid to sit there and try to justify this. America going after Greenland. You seriously have to be fucking stupid. So you take that into consideration, and then you take the last step is whether someone's on the phone apologizing to Russia right now, it's going to send Vladimir Putin a couple of $100 million right fucking now through some sort of crypto account or whatever. You're effectively power tripping to the point where nothing ends well for you.
And this is literally a week after they asked Donald Trump, "What do you want for the New Year, sir?" "I want peace on earth."
But for me, like I was saying earlier, for me, when I look at it, the generals who are doing this, the generals and the special force commanders who said, okay, we're going to okay this strike. We're going to do this. Now, the War Powers Act, the only thing you need is to put back the mechanism that tells the president, you can't do this. And if you do this, this is a bipartisan effort to remove you. So here's something I was mulling over in my head. Moving forward, if the president should break the law, the House legitimately impeaches that person, right? What that does, it triggers a unanimous consent vote. There is no need for a supermajority. None of that applies. You put that in the Senate as a bipartisan law to fix this bullshit. Now, the Senate has no choice but to hold a vote. You can't pussyfoot around it and say, oh, we don't have the votes, or yada yada yada, this and that. Those two trigger that trigger mechanism is what actually makes the Senate have to do it. It's not no longer a choice. You have to do this. There's no wraparounds. There's no nothing. You have to do it. And you feel what I'm saying? For me, when I look at it, majority rule. We have to do something about that. Because just to vote on party lines to save your president is retarded. That's the part of it I don't like. If it's a legitimate impeachment, it's a legitimate vote and a legitimate removal.
I agree.
So at the end of the day, if we put those type of mechanisms back in place, then the bipartisan getting away with some shit just doesn't happen anymore. Put term limits on the Supreme Court, and the Supreme Court justice can be impeached if clear improprieties are shown, because then it fucks up the integrity of the court. So if you're not going to go after them and give them lifelong appointments, then this is the result of it. So moving forward, Democrats and moderate Republicans that are choosing to stay have some work to do. Y'all got to fix this democracy. You feel what I'm saying? To say, at the end of the day, if you're running for the president, dare I say this, you cannot have a misdemeanor or felony on your record. Even if you're being tried at the time, you're automatically illegitimate to run for president. You can't even be nominated. So you put shit like that in place, we don't get this. Because the crazy part that's killing me is you hearing all of these people talk about upholding democracy and acting this way and that way, and this is why Maduro and other people have had to be taken out of their country and come and be tried and shit like that. Trump is a convicted felon. He still has 60-something charges, 60 to 70-something charges he faces once he leaves office.
Well, no, the statutes of limitations are gonna run out of that. Are gonna run out on all that shit. It literally ends in 2026.
Look at what they did in New York. If you look at what the 11th district did in New York, and I think the only one that the statute of limitation actually runs out on is the Georgia case. The Florida case, they tried to dismiss but Jack Smith did something to whereas that case can be brought back. All the cases in New York, they're just sitting on the shelf. There is no statute of limitation on those charges that he has in New York.
But AC, I agree with what you said about reforming the War Powers Act by maybe putting in place a unanimous consent, or putting in a mechanism to force it that would automatically force a unanimous consent in the Senate for impeachment. Like, that's the only way you can put these presidents in check, because they don't. Because not like that's the only way for Congress to put this president in check.
And
because, and let me bring my brother BVO up. Salute BVO.
No, I was just gonna end it by saying it holds to both, because Bill Clinton did it, Obama did it. You feel what I'm saying? Bush did it. Trump is doing it. Our last four presidents are all guilty of doing this shit. And it doesn't work out well for the country. So put that shit in place. I don't give a fuck who I voted for, Democrat or Republican. You do it, you're done in my book.
I agree. But my brother BVO comes up. BVO, your favorite president, White Jesus. I mean, the Great White Hope, Mr. No New Wars. What happened?
Hey man, I just think that absolute power corrupts absolutely, as they used to say.
Hey, BVO. What did Dave Chappelle say? I'm trying to go get me some of that.
Yeah, yeah. It's kind of, you know what? It's kind of sad because the stuff that Trump has done is undefendable, man. And it's like even harassing those people in Greenland, and it just, you know what's funny? It just show you how civil people used to be, because we've never seen a president try to consolidate executive power in this way. It's almost like he doesn't understand that there are checks and balances for a reason. He goes after, private, what do they call them? Those private, what do they call those?
Private institutions, or are you just talking about the attorneys themselves?
No, I'm talking about those guys that's there to watch and like kind of alert them. I can't think of the right name for it. But they got people around that alerts them that's not connected to the actual voting block, but they just like safeguards for the country. Inspector generals like that.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
Yeah, like when you see him go after inspector generals, man, I know about that because I'm a poli-science student, but most people don't know what an inspector general is or what they even do. And it's just like Trump is so corrupt. It's just something that we've never seen. I mean, even so much so where it's like it's not even about a racial corruption. That's the blindfold. It's just absolutely a corruption over wanting to have power. We seen this, I'm a big car enthusiast. We seen this during World War II when they forced the automakers to make weapons. And you see how, people like Henry Ford, when his son lost, they had to tell Henry Ford to get his grandson to run the company because he wanted to run it. It's just that these people are hungry for power and there's never enough money for whatever reason. It's almost where I think they said in 2012, this was the first time that we had people who would have fortunes that would last, 2 or 3 times their lifetime. You're talking about, what's his name? You're talking about Elon Musk being a trillionaire. For what? For what? What does that do? How much money do you need? And when you get everything, it makes people suffer, man. It makes everybody suffer.
And while he makes all that, sorry for cutting you off, BB. While he becomes a trillionaire and amasses all this wealth, he cuts off foreign aid to soup kitchens in Africa and health clinics, and over 300,000 people have died. And they say 10 million people are gonna die in the next 10 years. Like it's just shocking to like they're like the perfect movie villains. Like you can't even write this. You can't write this stuff.
No.
But the crazy thing is you got
hold on, AC. Hold on. Well, say what you're gonna say, AC. Then I'm gonna let BBO.
I was just gonna say the crazy thing you got is people justifying cutting off that aid by saying, yeah, there were scandals and they was doing this, they was doing that. But you have to outweigh the good outweighed the fucked up part where certain actors was trying to fuck that up with doing nefarious shit.
Watch your cousin.
But at the end of the day, I'll land it right there.
Yeah, go ahead.
It's just like when you see. Now I'm independent, but you got to be blind to not see that Tim Walz is a good man. Whether you like Willie Brown's, mistress or not, you can say that, you know what, Tim Walz is a decent guy. And when I seen Timmy up there dealing with all this fraud and all this stuff, and it's like, it's not all on him. And that's the problem with our society. Everybody's looking for a scapegoat. You got the Somalis who taking over Minnesota, which I don't think is good. We seen what happened in Toronto with that. What's her name? Omar.
Ilhan Omar.
Johan Armar is an absolute devil. I think she's one of the worst things that ever happened to our country. I think she's an actual cancer. You can't tell me. You can't tell me those people in Minnesota. You go to Minnesota, and I can speak from this from me going. They got the Somali flag everywhere. They act like they don't like blacks, foundational black Americans, black people who are from here. They're like they better than us. And it's like you got the president of Somalia always coming to Minnesota. Why? And then you got some of his delegates actually living in Minnesota because there's so many Somalians there. Well, this is my whole thing. If you guys want to be Somali, take your ass back to that shithole country that you're from. That's just excuse my language, but it's just so frustrating, man. Because you got everybody attacking America. And I'm not one of these people that do that because my grandparents helped build this great nation. No matter what people want to say, when you talk about us adding almost, what was it, $2 trillion to the economy, that money didn't evaporate that they got from slavery. That money didn't evaporate. That's the reason why we're one of the youngest nations to have one of the best armies, best navies you ever seen, because we had the money to do it. Do you know why Germany fell when Hitler was there? Because he had spent so much. No, he spent so much money rearming that by the time it came, he didn't have a chance to check those arms because he spent every penny he had on scams rearming. The whole rearming of Germany was a Ponzi scheme. They made fake notes, and they what they did was they tried to like keep adding they kept splitting stocks, and it was just nothing but paper. What I'm saying is we got a fraud problem in America, and we need more people who love this great country, man, to stand up and say, you know what? Forget a party, man. I love this great nation.
I will agree with you. I can agree with you that there is a decent percent of the Somalian population that talks that way about Black Americans being lazy, about them being no good. So I'm not going to pretend like I haven't heard that. I'm also not going to pretend like there wasn't a strong Somalian movement, particularly out of Minnesota, to put Donald Trump in office, who now calls these people garbage. But all that being said, I don't know how you can say that Somalians are cancer, and like that's really strong language to use about an entire group of human beings for the actions of probably less than a fraction of a percent of the people up there. Like they've only found 93 individuals that engaged in this fraud that they're talking about. So I don't agree with that. I don't think Ilhan Omar is a cancer. I mean, I don't see that at all. Like the cancer is Donald Trump. Like the cancer is the grab him by the P word guy. That's the cancer. And matter of fact, I'm so glad you brought up Minneapolis, BVO, because we move to the next topic. Tragic news coming out of Minneapolis today. ICE, the real cancer of America, has invaded Minneapolis. I can't remember the name of the operation, but it's the same Border Patrol commander that was running things in Chicago. So they have now come to Minneapolis, and they were out there trying to block a road, and they tried to pull a lady out of her car. And the lady, these are just a bunch of masked dudes with guns walking up to your car. So she tries to drive off, and one of them shoots her in the head. Okay? She died. So I want to play the video, and then I'm going to play the words of the mayor of Minneapolis.
No! No! Shame! Shame! Oh my fucking God! What the fuck? What the fuck? What the fuck did you do?
They are already trying to spin this as an action of self-defense. Having seen the video of myself, I want to tell everybody directly, that is bullshit. This was an agent recklessly using power that resulted in somebody dying, getting killed. There's little I can say, again, that'll make this situation better, but I do have a message for our community, for our city, and I have a message for ICE. To ICE, get the fuck out of Minneapolis. We do not want you here. Your stated reason for being in this city is to create some kind of safety, and you are doing exactly the opposite. People are being hurt. Families are being ripped apart. Long-term Minneapolis residents that have contributed so greatly to our city, to our culture, to our economy are being terrorized, and now somebody is dead. That's on you. And it's also on you to leave. It's on you to make sure that further damage, further loss of life and injury is not done.
So you saw, or I don't know if y'all can see the video right now. I showed it initially before the mayor of Minneapolis started. They got out of their truck. They walked up to the lady's car. They tried to open it, but it was locked. And then she said, "Nope, y'all are not about to drag me up out on this street." And then as she's pulling away, one of these idiots raises his gun and shoots her in the head twice. And then you later see she crashes off in the snow and hits another car. Like,
hey, can I say this real quick because I got to run?
Yeah, go ahead, BVO. And I want, because you just called Somalians cancer. When these motherfuckers are going into people's communities, murdering them.
I just want to sing for all my Caribbean people, as they say, man, God bless, you know, those ICE agents. I put it like this, man. We got to take our country back. And I'm not under the illusion. Immigration is nothing more than something else that kind of hurt black people. And I'm not going, and I'm not going to sit here and play, man. I want to see blacks do well. I don't give a darn about nobody that's not from America. If you're not from America, get the F out. Every other country does this. You got to get out of here. If you're not here legally or here the right way, get the F out. If you hate our country, leave. This is not perfect. I want to reiterate that. America's not perfect. It's the greatest thing going, man. It's the only place you can come from being poor like I was and live in a house. It's the only place I've ever seen where you're a poor kid, you can get an education. We just got to call what it is, man. I don't know, man. I hate to sound that way, but man,
but like,
I'm just
what
saying,
do you say to a Somalian mother who just had her husband murdered and now she got 5 kids who can't get a good education in Somalia? They can't get food in Somalia. They can't get health care in Somalia. Just stay there and die? Like, this is the greatest country in the fuck. And I'm not trying to get mad at you.
But these people don't say that. That's the thing that you don't understand. These people don't say that. These people talk crazy about blacks. They talk crazy about blacks.
Hold on, BVO. When these people came to this country, do you know what they had to do? They had to take their oath as a citizen. They had to put their hand over their heart and swear to the Union. Don't say these people hate this country. These people,
they do, man.
Do you know where these people come from?
They do, man. Go back there. I'm from Cleveland.
Wow.
I'm from here. We built this place. And you know what? The biggest con that's always happened to black people, we care about everybody else's liberation. But when it comes to ours, when Tamir Rice is murdered, when Trayvon Martin is murdered, when Breonna Taylor was murdered, no one says anything. When Obama, and this is the thing I'm gonna tell you. This is the thing I'm gonna tell you. They said, hold on, let me say this real quick. I'm done after this. They said at the Pacific meeting, when he was back in office the first time, and he was talking down to the Chinese stood up and said, a black American can't even walk down the street without his own country. So you think I give a darn about them people? F them. I care about Americans, man. Say what you want to say. I'm not with the racism. I'm not with the racism. If we can give Israel free health care, we should have free health care. If we can give Zelensky, them guys are crooks. Those Ukrainians, you look at what happened, a lot of that stuff is fraud that they was over there doing. Say what you want. It wasn't Joe Biden, but his son, that dude should be in jail, dog.
So should
we don't never
Trump's kids.
On the left side, nobody ever calls out the hypocrisy. What about what you see in the Clintons doing in the Dominican Republic, and they was building up those mud huts, talking about they rebuilt the Dominican Republic, man.
Let's just stick to the Ukrainian part. What was the corrupt thing
Okay, my bad.
that happened? Yeah, what was the corrupt things concerning Hunter Biden in Ukraine?
Man, they had all those shell companies stealing money from the people.
And then AC, my bad. Go
no,
ahead.
Go to my man AC. Go to my man AC.
I just want to hear your answer on that. Then I'm gonna come to AC so we can get into the
no, go to AC. I'll
get murdered.
Be back. Go to AC. Concerning immigration.
Okay, go ahead.
Go to AC.
I'm an indigenous American, and when I hear every other race try to talk about immigration, it fucks me up in a certain. It blows my mind in a certain degree when I hear certain people talk about it, and then it gives me great joy when I hear other people talk about it. When someone tried to tell me immigration is bad, and I look at you and I ask you, well, how did you get here? What is your definition of an American? What is your definition of this of an American? Because I'm indigenous to here. My people were still here before Amerigo Vespucci, the Italian sailor, explorer, who gave this country the name America. My people were here before then. So what is your definition? Because if you know the history of this country, you know how important immigration is. You know how important immigration was to build in this country. Because the original settlers, they couldn't do it. So when immigrants started to come in, and we're talking about immigrants from all over the world, including African immigrants, including West Indian immigrants, including Caribbean immigrants, everyone had a part in building this. And I don't want to neglect any one group over another group because it's politically correct to do something like that. As an indigenous person, I see immigration different than anyone who may have been the descendant of a slave, who may have been descendant of whoever. When you talking to an indigenous person that's also loves history, it's different. Concerning, what was the topic again that we was getting into?
What happened up in Minneapolis with that poor lady being murdered by that ICE agent?
Concerning Minneapolis, since this version of ICE has been introduced to the streets, I've been 10 toes down telling people, don't run from these dudes. Fight them. Fight them back. If you fight them back, we never would have gotten here. We never would have gotten here. The reason why Donald Trump moved to remove the National Guard is because your politicians and stuff like that fought back. And then they were all just completely useless. But when it came down to this immigration and ICE thing, many of the politicians, Democrats and Republicans, if you would have took that mayor's stance at the very beginning where he told them, get the F out of here, none of this would happen. Gavin, if you would have did what he did, none of this would have happened. Because the people would have got behind you and knew that this was not even a secondary police. Because we knew where the initial employment pool came from. We knew the charge that these people were handed down. that your job is to cause pain, mayhem, and fear. So if that's your job, I ain't scared of you. That's why I was talking to that dude that was trying to talk Breezer the last time. I said, while you over there, if you see one of your ICE people, tell them to come to my hood. We waiting. We waiting. And I really don't want to get how my emotional state has me right now, because I'm really doing my best to hold back my language and hold back my emotions and hold back what I have to say. Because at the end of the day, that's my wife, that's my aunt, that's my sister, that's my niece, that's my ex-girlfriend, that's my ex-best friend. I could think of so many nouns, pronouns, or verbs to give that woman who was two-piece like that. And there couldn't be an ICE agent. Let me find out where your hotel is, and I got you unmasked. They will call that something that starts with the word mass. Because all you people that found where they are, you picked up a camera. Did the camera stop that lady from losing her life? No. So put down the cameras. The world don't need to see what we're about to do to these people. Because there are people like myself that are here in Brooklyn that are charged. We ready. YouTube, you could say what you want. And I dare one of Cash Patel FBI agents to come knocking on my door.
Yeah, I think we in a point in time. By the way, this is a picture of the ICE agent to unalive that poor lady. Rest in peace to her and condolences to her family. She was 37 years old. She was a white woman. And she was a United States American. She was a citizen of the United States
Just
of
like they
America.
tried to rally
ICE,
around Charlie
ICE,
Kirk, rally around this lady, America.
exactly.
Just like they tried to rally around Charlie Kirk, rally around this lady right here. She is our sister. She is our mother. She is our grandmother. She is our aunts. She is our cousins. She is everything of us. These dudes are criminals. Rally around her. Rally around her like they tried to do with felonious ass Kirk. But this movement is real because we're taking back our communities. We're taking back our streets. ICE, you're finished. Pack up, go home, quit your jobs before there's an old Negro humming stuff about you. Because that's where you're gonna end up, bro. That's where you're gonna end up. You come into my hood, I dare you. Period. That lady is my sister. And I want retribution for my sister. That's the way I see it, bro. And at the end of the day, I don't even care anymore. I don't. At this point, I'm ready to put my life on the line to save this country because I'm indigenous and I feel it's my responsibility.
We need to. I agree with everything you said, AC. We need to become the militia that the Second Amendment was talking about. I'm not obviously encouraging anybody to go out there and to attack or assault any federal officers. But when these men are breaking the law, I want to be clear. Under U.S. federal statute, ICE cannot detain, question, or arrest a U.S. citizen. So them walking up to her car and grabbing the door handle and saying, "Get out," illegal. She's a U.S. citizen.
If you're a
And,
federal
and
agent,
one more thing, AC. This lady's death is on the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court put the battery in the back of these people to go walk up and question whoever they want, based simply upon how they look, how they speak, and certain mannerisms, and maybe some tattoos. These people's their legal justification is going to be, well, we had to check to see if she was an immigrant, and we didn't know she was going to pull off like that. This lady's death is on the Supreme Court not doing their job. Y'all said before in other decisions that you cannot stop and frisk, that you cannot racially profile people. And y'all put the battery in the back of these masked thugs.
They're not federal
to come
agents.
in here and do this. And one more thing. Congress, like, bro, I'm telling you, these Republicans are not going to survive in this year. They're not going to survive. If they do not get their shit together and start doing oversight of Christine Nome and DHS, bro, I'm telling you, some of these folks are going to jail. How the fuck, excuse my French, how the hell does a masked paramilitary group, ICE now has a budget as large as the 15th largest military budget in the world. How the hell did this unregulated, masked paramilitary group invade our nation's streets without the complicity of Congress not doing their job? And with the complicity of the judicial branch not doing their job? So now it falls on the citizens. That is what AC is talking about. We cannot just be the people, or we cannot just be the people out here that point cameras at them and think, oh, look, you're being videotaped. Stop doing that. They don't care. This gentleman right here, let me pull back up his picture. He felt safe to pull his gun and let off them 2 shots because he's wearing a mask.
And he will get a pardon.
And he will probably get a pardon. But not AC, but the Minnesota Bureau of Investigations, they're looking into this. So he's gonna have state charges, whatever the feds do. But my whole point, we the people need to start arming ourselves. Motherfuckers like they cannot just drop hundreds of ICE agents off in our communities to terrorize our people, and then shoot them when our people don't comply with illegal orders.
Bro,
ICE does not have, if you are an American citizen, ICE does not have the right to walk up to you and ask you nothing. Nothing. As a matter of fact, don't say nothing to them. Let them take you to the ground and fuck you up. Okay? So you can have that lawsuit.
I don't want a lawsuit. I don't want a lawsuit. Me personally, there will be no lawsuits. You will be taking, not you, someone else will be taking me to jail because of what I did to you. I'm advocating it for me. I'm fighting. I'm choosing to fight. I will not pick up a camera. I will not let you touch me because you're not a federal agent. I know you're not. Because if you were a federal agent, you'd have had to take a test. You'd have had to take an oath. They would have done a comprehensive background check. You're no different than these dudes. Just a bunch of hired domestic terrorists. And I'm not going to give you the chance to put your hands on me or anybody that I know. Or anybody I know. I will disarm you and use your own weapon on you because I know you're not trained. I will unmask you. At the end of the day, these men are not men and women are not federal agents. They are not.
My point is, AC, to resist. And if you have the means to resist like you, do it. I'm
I'm
not
on
gonna
my
say I'm
Malcolm
not
X,
gonna say
bro.
it I'm not gonna say it explicitly on my platform. But if you have
I'm
those
that's
means
why
to
I'm not
resist in
saying
that
it.
way, do
I'm
it.
on my Malcolm X. That KRS-One picture on that
Yeah.
album put me right there. I'm on it like that nowadays. I am defending my home turf. I am speaking for me. Marky has a platform. This is his platform. He invited me here to say what I'm saying.
Brother AC.
That is me. That's the type of time I'm on with ICE. That is the type of time I'm on with ICE. Because you're not a federal agent. And I have every right to do what he's doing right there. My home is my community. My community is my home. Everyone in my community that sees me on a daily basis knows I'm from that community. My home is my community. Don't let a foreign or domestic terrorist group come and frighten you from walking your dog or your family, taking your child to school. When we talk about mass shooters and how they make it uncomfortable for kids to walk to schools. The kids are growing up with that. Now, on top of mass shooters, we have a domestic terrorist that's trying to act like police. That's frightening our kids as they go to school
And
and
did you
leave
see that shit?
school.
They blocked the whole road and were going car to car asking people for their IDs. Then the lady, she stopped to try and turn around in the street and they rushed to her. And she tried to pull off and they blam her.
Yeah. And that's my
Like
point.
this is good. That like bro, that's
The line
That's
that crossed.
Gestapo. That is
That's the
Gestapo level of shit. Give me
That's
your
where the
papers.
line. That's
No.
where you cross the
Bam.
line for me. I said to myself, and I said to my missus, if the government and we, the people, don't stand up, that lady's departure, I blame the government, I blame law enforcement, and I blame us, the citizens, because we knew it was wrong. But all we wanted to do was go online, talk about it, write a scathing statement on the back of in the comment section of somebody's thing, go and show videos and say, shame on you, you should be ashamed of yourself. Meanwhile, we forget the Jamaican lady who said, what, you want to hit me? Go ahead. You'll find out real fast. I hit hard. And she made that coward stand down. And then the other little chubby coward then tries to say, you want to go to jail? She's like, try. He stood down. It tells you if a 5-foot-something woman can make a 6-foot, 200-pound dude and a 5'9", 5'10",
Bro,
200-something pound dude back down.
Christy Nome just put out a statement saying that there was a crowd surrounding the ICE agents. We just saw that fucking video. She then said that the people were throwing things at them and that the lady, I shit you not, she called the lady a domestic terrorist, AC. She
That's why
said that she
somebody
tried to
needs the
use her
Second
weapon.
Amendment that broad. That's why
I
that's
swear
why
to God, let me
someone
get the
needs to
picture.
do her dirty.
I
I
need to
don't
see
want
this.
to
I
see that.
need to
I
see
don't
this
want to
picture.
see that.
I
Me
need to see this
personally,
picture.
nah. I don't want to see your justice like that. I don't want to see your justice like that. That's the type of time I'm on. All y'all had your chances because we knew the goofy answers was going to come. We knew you were going to try to justify this because we already seen that they were trying to say that she tried to weaponize her vehicle against the ICE agents. That's one of the excuses that's already out here. And then when you look at the video, you're looking like, okay, she was making a U-turn. There was nobody there when she backed up. In fact, the only people that were the closest to the car were one other guy who was taking a picture. There was the two gentlemen right there, 2 or 3 gentlemen right there. She pulled up, backs up, then tried to make the U-turn. And as she's making the U-turn, now they want to bum rush her car. I don't want to hear the justification. And Stephen Miller, I don't want to hear any justification from you. Because if you put me in a room alone with Stephen Miller, I'm the only one going to walk out that room breathing. I'm just on it like that. I'm done with these people. I'm done with anybody who's trying to half-ass try to say one thing, but then want to go back and use all of these talking points. I'm done with anybody who wants to try to tell me about, yeah, we need to do something about this immigration. I'm done with you telling me that. Because it's the same thing that got your Spanish ass here. And for you Puerto Ricans who feel that way, you better be thankful America annexed your country. Because at the end of the day, it would have been destroyed many hurricanes ago. So at the end of the day, I am not with any Latin person who's co-signing anything that ICE is doing. You are the problem. And if I identify you as the problem, please do not come and talk to me. Because face to face, I will get physical with you. I'm not trying to have an open, understanding conversation. We are way past that. Your support.
The lady's name was Renee Nicole Good. Rest in peace to her. Like I just have a particular disdain for I mean I have a disdain for ICE and Border Patrol, but Christine like I look at her and I see in her eyes that she has no soul. That she is a weak, decrepit, ignorant, stupid human being. And she has no feeling in her body for her fellow man. For her, like AC, usually when stuff like this happens, the thing you say is, we're conducting an investigation and we'll give you a statement and more information when we have that. Not even a couple hours after this lady was killed, she calls her a domestic terrorist. Like her family has to, if this lady has to be, has a family, Christy Nolan has to be liable for some type of defamation. Or for slander. I need to see this lady in some handcuffs.
I couldn't.
I need but I just but with her, I need to see something like maybe she'll trip and fall down the steps and break her nose, or maybe she'll get hit by a car, or maybe one of them dogs she loves so much will bite the shit out of her. I need to see something happen to this lady. Bro, for just like her blatant, I don't give a fuckery.
For the excuses that came out, for the excuses that came out within, let's just say, the first 5 hours, 5 maybe 6 hours. Me being a family member, I probably would have posted a video of me bawling out crying, trying to tell these people.
And now Sean Hannity is talking about, my bad, is he good?
You're trying to slander my sister or whoever, whatever she would be to me as my family, if she was my girlfriend, the mother of my child, you're seriously trying to slander her name to justify your criminal actions, I would probably be the first person in history in that state of mind that makes that open threat that I will find you and I will get my retribution. And then end it like that. And whatever happens, happens. Take me to court. Because at the end of the day, I would be making all kind of arguments. While they have me locked up, I'm calling somebody here, get on the news. Listen, I'm telling y'all this, now that I calm down a little bit, make her what they tried to make Charlie Kirk to be. Make her what they tried to make the Babbitt chick to be on January 6th. Make her everything that they fraudulently tried to make so their movement gained power, got the people behind it. For black folks, don't let this be about race just because she was whatever. Look at her as Breonna. Look at her as Breonna Taylor. Breonna Taylor was asleep. They got it wrong. Her husband did the right thing. They got it wrong. And then the cop blindly did what he did, just like this guy did. What's the difference? Skin color? At the end of the day, it comes down to this. Two people who are charged with carrying a weapon that can take life recklessly made decisions and recklessly used it. So don't make it about race. Make it about the idiots who are given that type of power. And we have to make sure that idiots can never, ever wield that type of power ever again. That's what you make that about. And that people can get behind that, politicians and everybody, the same way they tried to do with Kirk. You got yourself a winning recipe to shut all of this down. All of it down. But this is the only place, Marky Dan's channel is the only place you're going to hear what I'm saying. Unless one of them other big YouTube people quietly sneak here and they'll start to say certain things like I've heard other big YouTube channels kind of say. You can call it coincidence, but when the verbiage and the way you put it together is spoken the same way, then there needs to be something that's understood there. And this is our war cry. Her name, the actions they did to her, is our war cry. Because let this have just been a black man or a actual, as they will call it, illegal immigrant who double tapped that lady in her head like that. What would the right be doing right now? Ramping up ICE visits,
rapists,
calling
killers,
out all kinds
men
of
of
stuff.
God.
Oh, they're the worst. They are vile. But
The
on our
worst
side,
of the worst,
on our
poisoning the
side,
blood of the nation.
we're told to comport ourselves and say what we feel in a nice way so it doesn't hurt people's feelings. Excuse me, Marky Dan, for saying it like this, but fuck your feelings. Your feelings don't matter to me no more. That's the type of time I'm on right now. And I'll tell that to your face. I'll tell it to your racist mama face. I'll tell it to your racist Meemaw face. Your racist pop face. Your racist 4-year-old, if your 4-year-old should say something. I'll say something back and the baby start crying. Why you did that? Fuck that, make
Nah,
me feel.
I'm telling you, I don't give a fuck. Yeah, I'll put them kids in check. That's our job.
Exactly. Fuck your baby's feelings. You need to do a better job of raising them right, because what they just said was something that was taught. It's not how they feel. So at the end of the day, excuse my French, but right now I'm on it like that, and I'm probably gonna stay on it like this, because we need to use this woman's joint as a rallying cry for lawmakers to step up, newly elected people to step up. Everybody comes collectively with ICE. Don't come to my town, and if you in my town, the fuck out. Just like that mayor said, keep it blunt like that. Keep it gangster, keep it blunt like that. Say it how it needs to be said. And trust me, when we hear those of us on the street hear our politicians talking about it like that, we're going to get behind these people 100% and form that brick wall. The only way you get past us is you got to kill all of us. And if you break out your bear spray, I'm going to break out my legal that I brought out of a magazine, my legal pepper spray. I might drop a pepper spray bomb in your car as you pass me. Bloop, boof. But at the end of the day, you're spraying innocent people in the face with bear spray. People who've had heart conditions, who've had heart attacks because you sprayed them in the face with bear spray, knocking down the elderly man, grabbing a woman, and the little kid is right next to the 3-4-year-old is screaming outrageously. Those days are done. Those days are done, and I hope America is on the same type of time. We got to stop this, America. We're not. I never known with movies like Rocky and Finding Private Ryan and all of these type of movies that made you feel proud to be an American. Rocky versus Drago had so much political implication based on what was happening in the real world. And then you bring in the Cold War dude, Drago. Everybody remembers Dolph Lundgren in the role of Drago. If he does, he does. Everybody remembers Finding Private Ryan. Everybody gets behind Forrest Gump. Everybody gets behind the war movie where the medical dude is going around saving people and stuff like that. Everybody gets is hyped about
But we
seeing
not the
Private Ryan.
good guy. But we not the good guys anymore. AC. We're the motherfuckers in the movies that gun
Yeah, but what
surrendering
I'm saying is
soldiers down in the
point that I'm
water.
saying
That's who we
is
are in the movie.
I'm saying it like this. That's who our government is right now. But that doesn't find who the people are.
Right. Yes.
The people, that's who I'm talking to. I'm not talking to the government like that, because if y'all keep capitulating on both sides or all three sides, 4 sides, however you want, however many political parties out there, whether you tend to vote Democrat or you tend to vote Republican or you're independent. If we look at all the voting pool between all of that, I'm talking to all of us. I'm talking to all of us. Are we literally going to stand by and watch another death? Because this is like the 3rd one. But the other ones happened in the hospital because people had heart attacks and were ill and stuff like that. This we just clearly saw murder. That's what that was. That was a murder. We saw this criminal who was you know, drafted or deputized by a corrupt administration to cause harm, fear, and things like that.
Bro, AC, like there's a real possibility this individual could have had drugs in his system when he pulled that gun and killed that lady. You remember that kid who that ICE agent who had a drug overdose in Long Beach that we were
Yes.
talking about?
Remember the ICE agent who was speeding down the highway with his kids in the car?
Yeah. And then
Remember the
they
ICE
just
agent who
found
was at the
they just
restaurant
found
in
another ICE
California?
agent with a Reichstag, which is the eagle of the Nazi legions, a Reichstag tattoo on the back of his ear, which is another reason why these men want the mask, bro. These are not
Exactly. And
federal
bro,
agents. What federal agency can you get a fucking job in with a Nazi tattoo behind your ear, bro? I can't do it, bro.
and that's my point, bro. That's my
Like this
point where,
background I have up here, AC, I specifically created it because of ICE.
bro, that's my point. That's why I've been saying every one of these democracy joints that since Donald Trump won and you and I have been talking about ICE, I've been saying exercise your Second Amendment. Fight them. I know these type of personalities. These are the type of personalities that a person would see on the street. You would encounter them in a road rage situation, and the reason why they're road raging is because you're a person that is not of their complexion or ethnic group, and they feel their size and stature can let them get away with it until you step out, and they may be bigger than you, taller than you. You step out and you say, "Who the f do you think you talking to?" If you feel that way, I will smack the dog mess out of you right now. Say one more word. I promise you, I will smack the dog crap out of you. And you get right up in their face and you do not break eye contact with them. They get back in their car. They talk all the mess, call you the N-word, put their middle finger up and speed off on the first green light. That's who these people are. That's who they are.
Okay.
So
A
for
bunch
me,
of punks.
exactly. For me and Marky's been saying this. Yo, gang members. Yo, gangs. Let me holler at you. Y'all dudes need to get active.
Hey, don't say that on my platform. Don't say that on my platform, baby. Don't say that on my platform.
You know what I'm saying?
You know what I'm saying? Marky Dan does in Democracy 101, we do not promote violence. However, we do promote resistance and self-defense against illegal behavior. We do promote that.
And
But
that's what I'm talking about.
but that
Start
is a
patrolling it.
conversation we did have off screen, AC. Absolutely.
I'm just saying, where you're in these communities that you're hearing about them, start patrolling them and fighting back.
This is what we need the Panther Party for. This is what we need the
And
Black
this is why the Panthers
Nationalist
were.
Liberation Army for.
This is why the movement was created. This is why the Black Panthers were created. You feel what I'm saying? This is why many of those real pro-African movements or pro-Black American movements were formed. Once they're formed, you just can't let the corruption be the thing that tears your credibility down.
Yeah.
It's not about making money with these groups. It's about fighting the good fight. And when you talk about the original set of Black Panthers, I don't know if many people know they were all teenagers. No one was actually over 17 years old.
Fred Hampton died, I believe, at 19 or 20 years old. after he had formed I mean, I'm gonna say, like, I don't give a fuck what nobody got to say, AC. Fred Hampton would have been the president of the United States
if
they had not cut him down.
Yeah.
Because he had the messaging to cut across racial divides. He said these social issues is not, or rather, what was the Rainbow Coalition's hallmark? Oh man, bro, what was it? It was like we not gonna. This is not a. Or matter of fact, it wasn't even it was the Rainbow Coalition, but they said we are not gonna fight or no, class warfare has nothing to do with race. That's what it is. That was their selling point, and they were right because they were able to get the young patriots, those white boy hicks, the descendants of Confederates. They got niggas from the islands like me, Puerto Ricans, and then they have blacks, foundationals or whatever you want to call them. And he understood we are minorities. Poor white folk, that he understood if he could get poor white folks and immigrants, he got it. He understood that the Panther Party would have political power in the United States. And I think that with his message and his 10-point plan and with his beliefs and like his energy, AC, this young man would have been the president by 2000 in the years of 2000s. I think he would have had a coalition to challenge George Bush by then. But they were smart. They made sure to get him out of here.
He would have had the coalition. I'm gonna be honest. When Geraldine Ferraro, Ross Perot, and those weirdos were running, he would have had the coalition right then and there to win that election. When Jesse Jackson tried to, many years later, try to take over the Rainbow Coalition, you weren't it, Jesse. Sorry. You just weren't it. There was nothing authentic about you. You feel what I'm saying? When Jesse
Jackson was an FBI agent. I don't care what nobody say.
Yeah, I mean, Jesse's got way too many questionable things about himself and things like that. The biggest and best thing that Jesse Jackson did was number one when he went to California, or he came here. I don't remember if it was in either LaGuardia or LAX, where that dude was sitting on a platform with all of those hostages and stuff like that. In the late 70s, Jesse went to go do that, and Jesse went to Israel to free some hostages. Not Israel.
Iran,
and stuff like that to get some hostages. They had these hostages that were there for almost a year.
But no, absolutely. But salute to my brother, boxing scholar, pulling up on the panel. Usually late, but always welcome. How you doing, brother?
I just came. The reason I'm late is because the Coonan don't normally start till around, 5:45, 50 my time, brother. So, I'm on time to the people that's here to Coon.
Now you see now, you done fucked up. You know that, don't you?
I see what I'm saying. I thought.
No, so, I'm saying that you done fucked up now. You know that, don't you?
I've been waiting to pull that one out on somebody.
Shout out to AC and Marky Dan, man. Hey, I don't know if y'all had y'all ear to the streets or whatever the case may be, bro. These zombies, bro. I can't even call it a cult at this point. They zombies because they multiply. Like they multiply in the comment section. It's just it's a disease. What's going on, man? Like Marky sent me a video of a lady being unalive by ICE. It's just so crazy. Like me and Marky said through an hour video of Donald Trump not even hiding that they were doing it for the press. And then all the professionals. Who said something about bitch you cook? But not like the professionals were trying to do what they did in 2000. You know, old dictators. They have ties to this. They got yellow cake. They got aluminum foil and all. You know, all of the stuff that they did to try to fearmonger. Donald Trump just says, nah. We did it for the oil, and then he starts making threats to other places. Colombia, Mexico, Greenland. We need Greenland, and it's just like, bro, what in the entire hell is going? I cannot believe this is a real reality.
No,
But you know what,
absolutely.
Marky Dan? It starts with Austria. Austria for Donald Trump was changing the Gulf to the Gulf of America. That was his first rollout for being a
Damn, I didn't
dictator.
even think about it like that. Wow.
Yeah, he
But
laid the
no,
blueprint, bro.
But no, absolutely, I agree with you in terms of the international lawlessness. Just to quickly get your thoughts on that box, guy, I'm gonna play a video of Stephen Miller and Republican Senator Lindsey Graham. I mean, they like I said to AC earlier, it's like they're the perfect movie villains. Like Stephen Miller is somebody I would really play with. Like I would do something to this guy. Like I mean that.
So the clip that you
live in a world. What happened?
I was gonna say the clip that you about to play before, I've seen it before, but for full context, you are absolutely 100% right. They're the movie villains that actually come through with their plan. Because in the movies, like they'll start talking, they'll be like, "I want to take this time to reveal my evil plan," and then the hero will gather himself and overthrow. They're the ones that actually goes through with their plan. They're Thanos. They're gonna get the glove. They're gonna snap. I've watched those guys on TV, Marky Dan. I watched them talk about other issues and stuff. I've never seen them this fucking excited and thrilled with this Venezuela situation. Like that's crazy, Marky. Like I've even seen that, like them talk about their families before. They've never had this glow, this cheese. It's ridiculous. But go ahead. Let's go to the clip.
We live in a world in which you can talk all you want about international niceties and everything else, but we live in a world,
I would do
in the
something to
real
this
world,
dude. I
Jake,
would really
that is
put my
governed
hands on
by
this dude.
strength, that is governed by force, that is governed by power. These are the iron laws of the world that have existed since the beginning of time. The real question is, by what right does Denmark assert control over Greenland? What is the basis of their territorial claim? The United States should have Greenland as part of the United States. There's no need to even think or talk about this in the context that you're asking of a military operation. Nobody's going to fight the United States militarily over the future of Greenland.
You just wait for Cuba. Cuba is a communist dictatorship that's killed priests and nuns. They've preyed on their own people. Their days are numbered. We're going to wake up one day, I hope in 26, in our backyard, we're going to have allies in these countries doing business with America, not narco-terrorist dictators killing Americans.
I pray and hope that 2026 will be the year that we make Iran great again.
Like that, like Lindsey Graham, that last clip, it's like my jaw just drops to the floor. It's like, he's in a re-election year, Boxing Scholar. He's not and Lindsey Graham is not a dumb guy. He knows his people do not want this war. He knows they don't want regime change.
So, Marky, the clip I thought you were going to play was when they were on the plane and Lindsey was cheesing from ear to ear. I thought that's what you were going to play. You know what it looked like? It looked like they just had a counter with Donald Trump because the Bubba's no longer on the scene, and Donald Trump gave him the best blowjob that he's ever had in his life, and it was his coming out of the car. Go, you think I'm joking? Go look at the clip. When I tell you Lindsey Graham is in the picture, because what he tried to do is, that, like I said, that good, greatest war hits. We went over there to get the dictator out of power. They're bringing in fentanyl, even though they don't produce.
Terrorism.
Yes, Marky Dan. When I tell you cheesing from ear to ear, like you remember when the Grinch like was stealing the Christmas gifts and he was smiling from ear to ear. That's what they look like.
Yeah, I mean, this is the crowd that all these MAGA people were swearing. This is the No New Wars crowd. We're not gonna. It's the Democrats
and the deep state that wanna drain our tax dollars by going to foreign wars. They like the Republican Party has not changed at all. It like the only difference is like those Republicans that were like, man, we gotta go get them terrorists. We gotta get the terrorists. Now like they've changed to Cubans. We have to go get Maduro. We have to go get the Cuban dictator and free them. I'm just shocked by how dumb people are. That they would vote for the same party again, believing that there would be anything different. George Bush cut taxes for the rich, and him and Dick Cheney raided Iraq and Afghanistan. Donald Trump cut taxes on the rich, and now he's talking about raiding Cuba and Colombia and Venezuela and Greenland. I'm disgusted, but we're going to move on from that. And like I said, rest in peace to Miss Nicole Renee Good, that poor lady who was unalived by that ICE officer. I wish nothing but peace for and condolences to her family. But the topic, which, people have not been talking about, with all this talk of regime change and going and invading Greenland and ladies getting gunned down in the street, the good old Epstein files. The Epstein files, I believe, under federal statute, were supposed to come out last month on the 19th of December, 2025. And what has happened since is they have been drip feeding us, which is illegal. It's plainly against the law. The Epstein Files Act, which was forced on the Republicans, it plainly says that you must give all the documents. And that you can do redactions, but they have to be reasonable redactions. There are entire pages concerning Donald Trump's son-in-law, Jared Kushner, with emails concerning Jared Kushner sending emails to somebody we don't know because it's redacted. And the entire page is redacted. And there's entire hundreds of pages that are potentially thousands of pages that are like that. I mean, they've released over 300,000 documents since the 19th of December, and hundreds of and over 100 gigabytes of footage. Now, from what I have seen, now there's a couple things I went through and found. I found this one report from an agent who interviewed a confidential informant who says that he was a driver for Jeffrey Epstein and Donald Trump back in 1997. And I'm going to read this report. And obviously you see a lot of names blotted out. There are alleged victims in this report. So I'm just going to go ahead. It says, and I'm starting after it says, blank provided the following information. Blank reported around 1997 he made contact with blank, date of birth blank, whom and I believe they're talking about the victim, whom he had known for 6 or 7 years prior as they had a son together. Blank and blank ended up dating. As blank explained, she was having money issues and problems with her daughters. Blank noted they were friends from before. During the contact in 1997, blank asked blank how to spell Ghislaine numerous times. As blank noted, she had taken her daughters up to see one of the, quote, supposed fathers who lived in Niagara Falls, NY recently. Blank reported she had met a lady who invited her daughters blank, date of birth blank, and blank, date of birth blank, to a fancy hotel and met Donald Trump and some of his friends in 1997. Blank continued asking blank how to spell Ghislaine, implying Ghislaine had given her money and would give her additional money if needed. On Christmas Eve of 1999, or the day prior, blank was over visiting his son, who he had with blank years prior. Blank began talking to blank as she seemed to be acting strange and asked blank if he needed a ride home. Continues.
Blank asked and blanked about his time driving a limousine for 2 years in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. During blank time as a driver, he had met Donald Trump. Blank noted he picked up the president. He picked the president up in 1995 and took him to the DFW airport. Blank reported some of the things President Trump had spoken about during the ride while on his cell phone were very concerning. Blank reported he was, quote, a few seconds from pulling the limousine over on the median and within a few seconds of pulling him out of the car and hurting him. Some of the things he was saying, as caller chose not to. Blank noted Trump continuously stated the name Jeffrey while he was on the phone and made references to, quote, abusing some girl. Blank was unsure who he was talking to, nor who he was referencing. As Blank talked about his time meeting Donald Trump, Blank demeanor went stone cold. As Blank stated, and I guess they switched from the informant now to who was the driver now to the victim, is which I guess they're saying that the victim got in the car and stated, but quote, he raped me. Blank said, what? As Blank replied, Donald J. Trump had raped her along with Jeffrey Epstein. Blank noted, some girl with a funny name took me into a hotel or building. That's how it happened. Ghislaine is a pretty funny name, but I don't know. Blank advised Blank to call the police regarding the incident. As Blank stated, quote, I can't, they will kill me. On Christmas Day, Blank contacted Blank and stated she had in fact called the police about what they had talked about. Blank told Blank she had done good. Blank did not hear from Blank or Blank until January 10th of the year 2000. Blank reached out to Blank stating Blank was dead. Noted she was found with her, quote, head blown off in Kiefer, Oklahoma. Officers on the scene and Blank stated there was no way it was a suicide. Coroner stated it was a suicide. Blank later stated Blank committed suicide because Blank had gotten cocaine from a Mexican drug cartel. Blank feels the murder is a cover-up for Ghislaine. The last contact with Blank was after Blank posted this information on Facebook a couple weeks prior. Blank called Blank yelling that he had put the family in danger. Blank explained Blank had a third daughter named Blank, date of birth Blank. Note, during the report, he mentioned John Doe number 2 was actually, was actually John W. Nichols, date of birth blank, blank, blah, blah, blank, who tried to originally set Blank up for the bombing in Oklahoma City. Nichols worked security for Bill and Hillary Clinton as Blank ate at a place where Nichols worked security at the door. Hillary walked up to Blank drunk and began yelling as they asked Blank to leave and fired Nichols, which led Nichols to attempt to set up Blank for the bombing. I mean, like, yeah, just insane. But I'm gonna come to AC first. AC, what is your reaction to the fact that the President of the United States has I mean, now just think about the fact they were using a confidential informant's word to say that Kilmar Abrego Garcia is a terrorist and a drug cartel member. You now have an informant telling this very detailed story about how this girl, who was the daughter, I guess, of his child's mother, coming downstairs to his car and saying, the President of the United States, Donald J. Trump, obviously he wasn't the president at the time, but Donald J. Trump raped me. And then this young lady, a couple weeks later, gets her head blown off. And then her mother, you later see it in the report at the bottom, her mother is talking about you put the family in danger when I guess this confidential informant tried to post this information on Facebook to the public, which I guess at the time it didn't get no pull. And then at the bottom, like, it just out of nowhere, Hillary and Bill Clinton,
apparently they employed somebody who tried to bomb a building in Oklahoma City. I don't know if that's the specific Oklahoma bomber, but anyway, AC, what's your reaction? That was fucking crazy.
No, I mean all of this stuff is crazy, and that's why when you read this type of stuff, you like, this can't be real.
Bro,
This is
like that is some shit out of like a espionage spy
Tom
film.
Clancy, you know.
I'm pretty sure this was the Equalizer 4 script before they scrapped it.
Yeah, something like that, bro. It's just like so freaking crazy. It seems like a mini docudrama that you can watch, you know, on Hulu or you know, Paramount Plus or something like that. You feel what I'm saying? So I mean, it's so crazy. It makes you think there's something off with reality. And at the end of the day, where all of this stuff is, and someone would come down after you picking your daughter up or whatever the case may be, and then they tell you that something like that happens. You have to understand.
I would have got out of that car and went up in that building. I would have found that nigga. I don't care.
Everybody in that building that was involved. Hey, listen, I'm just not.
You remember Taken when Liam Neeson went for his daughter?
Yeah,
that's the type of time, and I'm on. Everybody gotta go.
Exactly. From the bellboy, the bell. I don't know which one. I don't know who's involved. I don't know who isn't involved. Come get me when we about to do this trial for all of that work I just put in. All I'm saying is this. There's this, at the end of the day, I think I want people to understand this. This isn't even scratching the surface. Because you look at this man and what he's willing to do, the level of distraction.
And I still got more. I still got more to go, AC. We got more.
No, but listen. All I'm saying is this. The stuff that they won't put out. This is scratching the surface of the type of individual that this current president is. This is who he really is. This is the level of depraved human this guy is. So at the end of the day, you have to understand, if a man is willing to go as far as boat strikes, invading another country, unaliving guardsmen, taking out one of his biggest supporters to hide that information, he's going to hide that information. So if you know the man and you really, really understand how his first wife passed, then you'll understand where I'm coming from. This is that type of depraved human being. It's like when you read about stuff or you see TV shows that have these mysteries and you find out the dude unalived shorty because he didn't want to be a baby daddy to her. That type of level of callousness is what puts a smile on this guy's face. When you look at who his heroes are, when you look at who his dad's right-hand man was, you'll understand what I'm saying. So at the end of the day, for me, this is not surprising. What would be surprising to me is the stuff that they really, really trying to hide, the stuff that he's willing to unalive people for and give these grand distractions. That stuff is so bad that, dare I say, this dude would set off a nuclear rocket to protect them.
Or invade Greenland.
Or invade Greenland. And that's
Or
just
unalive a poor or send some ICE Gestapo thugs to unalive a poor lady in Minneapolis.
But Boxer Scholar, I'm gonna come to you, my brother, cause and we're gonna get back to it, AC, because we got it's a lot more that I got to. That it's at least 3 or 4 more pieces of evidence. But go ahead, Boxer Scholar. I
Okay,
want
so
your reaction to
yeah,
all the crazy shit in here.
okay, y'all got to stay with me because I'm gonna take it around the way and I'm gonna bring it home. No diddy. So, one thing that's popular in the media is black fatigue, right? And this is based on a book, basically saying it was like the title is misleading for people that don't like to read. That's why Americans have hijacked the title. But it was basically essentially saying black people can't be like safe away from no criticism from everybody. Like everywhere, like we're in court and we're guilty of nothing, but the world is judging us, right? But people not only have hijacked that term, but they have applied it to everything. Like if we do a topic on missiles, they'll be like missile fatigue. Bro, what? Trump derangement, like that. All of a sudden, these experts come out to play, right? But in certain situations like this, they don't use their expertise. Like this is the perfect, like whenever Marky Dan read this, we were all like, what in the entire, like, this is some shit that's like, not unbelievable, but it would just be so surreal to experience. If you were going through this, you would be like, I cannot believe that spy shit is real. Like they're sending people to kill people, to drink shit, to cover up shit. Like this is insane, So I cannot believe that the media, Marky Dan, who has what millions and billions of dollars, are not talking about. Like this is insane to me. Like if you're
Millions and billions and even trillions.
Even that's clouded. But like they have more technology, Marky Dan. They have AI tools that can cipher through this. They even have investigative tools where they can go find the victims, even though they're victims. That's just the reality, right? And they're not saying anything. They're acting like this shit is so encoded, and it's just so crazy to me because like the media fell off in my eyes when it started becoming sensationalized. Like they don't even care about, hard facts or any of that stuff. And it's like you have something that's scintillating. So scintillating, it probably will burn a hole in your goddamn keyboard. And what do, Marky Dan? Whistle past the fucking graveyard. Like you can't make this shit up, bro. You can't make it up. Like what? When this story first broke, I did the CNN coverage, and CNN was so excited. They were more excited than Lindsey Graham. I think, probably about even. They both probably skeeted on the wall. No diddy. But they were really, really like overjoyful about this story being out. Oh my gosh, Epstein files. We're gonna dig deep. We have our best people working on it, but nothing has came. Nothing has surfaced. And you know what Steve Bannon said, right? And he's in the files too. He definitely is a PDF file.
Absolutely.
But Steve Bannon basically talked about a strategy. I watched the whole documentary on Steve Bannon. He talked about how Donald Trump was basically an idiot, and he was like the perfect idiot because he wasn't a traditional politician. And traditional politicians, their moment to cripple their campaign would have been the grab him by the pussy moment. And he was like, Donald Trump was so ignorant that he thought the people still loved him. And he's like, look at those people down there. Those are my people. Those are my people. And then like he said like Pete down there, and they were like protesters. And he was like, Donald Trump thought those were his people. And he even had like the viral moment where he's walking past those people because he genuinely thought they were his people. Like he's a fucking idiot. But Steve Bannon also revealed in that documentary that he was like a strategy of Donald Trump's, because he's a PR guy, right? That's why Jeffrey Epstein hired him to fix his public image. That's crazy. And this guy, I don't know, that's crazy. He's like the guy, like, I know a guy. Remember when Jeffrey Epstein was referring to the recruiter that Donald Trump had?
I'm gonna just be quick, boss guy. You remember what Steve Bannon said? If the Democrats win the midterms, we're all going to jail. He meant that.
Oh, absolutely. And not only that, Marky Dan, not only that, he also said something, I think it was the same interview, where he said essentially, a strategy of Donald Trump's is the fatigue stuff, right? Like put so much story out there because the media is sensationalized that they'll latch on to everything and that they'll make a point about nothing. And they'll just be like the dogs from Up, like squirrel, you know what I mean? So he said this in real time. And I don't know if this is what we're witnessing or they're just lazy or they're covering up for somebody because maybe their bosses might be involved in it. But this is crazy, man.
So it gets more insane. This right here is a letter allegedly written by Jeffrey Epstein, was then mailed 3 days after his death to a Michigan facility, or excuse me, no, it might have been a facility in Texas. To like, like you cannot make this stuff up. Jeffrey Epstein's final letter was written to Larry Nassar. And if you don't know who Larry Nassar is that guy who sexually molested over 300 young women at the University of Michigan when he was or it might have been Michigan State, when he was the team doctor, I think. So, and you heard what I just said, 300. And then Epstein's total, at least according to this DOJ, if you believe them, his total is in the thousands. So Epstein writes this letter to him. You see the stamp at the top. You see J. Epstein. I mean, why would somebody take their time? You see the check bar, right? Why would somebody take their time to fake this? And right now, Donald Trump's administration, they're trying to do we got to do forensic analysis. We think this is a hoax. This is a fake letter. CNN came out and confirmed that this is Jeffrey Epstein's handwriting, and that they tried to say, oh, well, this was in a Virginia facility, but CNN confirmed this letter came from Jeffrey Epstein's facility up there in New Jersey, I believe. So the letter reads, "Dear LN," which refers to Larry Nassar, and this is Epstein writing. "As you know by now, I have taken the short road home. Good luck. We shared one thing, our love and caring for young ladies and the hope they'd reach their full potential. Our president also shares our love of young, nubile girls. When a young beauty walked by, he loved to grab, snatch, whereas we ended up snatching grub in the mess halls of the system. Life is unfair. Yours truly, J. Epstein." 3 days after he was murdered, that letter was sent. Do you understand me? Epstein knew they were coming to get him. And I was talking to my mother, and my mother, because she's been in this she's been in her law practice in this community for over 30 years. She's had over 12,000 clients. Okay, so she is kind of like the keeper of the secrets. She knows everybody's secrets, and she thinks that Epstein was one of these types of people where he liked to have dirt on you. So he might have wanted to create that letter to try and have something against Trump, and it might have cost him his life. It might have been Jeffrey's way of being like, "Yo, I'm not going to jail. I'm not taking this weight, bro. I'm not carrying this weight, bro. You gotta find a way to get me out of here, Trump. I don't care if you gotta send Delta Force, the Navy SEALs, make it a false flag operation. You gonna get me out of this jail cell." And then Trump went and got him out of there. But as I said, multiple independent news outlets have confirmed that this is Jeffrey Epstein's handwriting and that it was sent from the New Jersey facility. But
Hey,
yeah,
Marky.
let me get your thoughts, AC.
Marky, that's what I'm trying to tell you. When it's stuff that's more deeper than this. Epstein was probably revealing.
We have a motive. This is a motive.
We have more than a motive, because when Epstein was locked up, remember when Michael Cohen and Paul Manafort. Michael Cohen, Paul Manafort, and the weird dude who thought he was all, Mr. Brooks Brothers, Kingsman type fashion guy. The hell was that dude name with the glasses and stuff like that? Who was there to cause chaos? Those three dudes all went to jail because of Trump. Remember that the guy that I'm talking about, his house was raided, right? And he told the truth.
John Bolton. John Bolton.
No, not John Bolton. No, I'm gonna Google him after I talk, and I'll just interrupt real fast to tell y'all his name. But long story short, he told Donald Trump, he said, "Listen, you don't want me to go to jail. I know that for a fact. So you do what you have to do to get me out of this situation." Donald Trump immediately pardoned that dude. When it came down to Paul Manafort didn't have the same luxury because Paul Manafort had all of those deep ties to Russia. And Paul Manafort was kind of acting in the role of a spy. So that's what got him in
Roger Stone?
Yes, Roger Stone.
Salute to Skeletora.
Yes, Roger Stone. That's what I'm talking about. When you look at how Roger Stone used to talk to Donald Trump, Roger Stone used to just let him know, you don't want to do this, because Roger Stone had ties to the dude when Trump used to say, "Where's my such and such Cohen?" The gay dude from the McCarthy era. That dude right there, Roger Stone worked for him. He also worked for several people and came up in the same circles as many of those that were part of that whole McCarthyism and, exposing potential communists and stuff like that. And, the FBI and the CIA's involvement in planting agents and stuff like that with Malcolm X and Martin Luther King. Roger Stone is a dude that knows all of that in intimate detail. So you're really not doing nothing to that in the space of politics as a Republican, nefarious, that Roger Stone isn't showing you the right people to talk to, or he knows about it because you need that information. He's like the Merovingian of evil Republican stuff. So when you look at what he was saying, and then when Epstein went to jail, Roger Stone was in one of these joints where, you see him and he's always doing this thing with his teeth that like sucking his back
I
teeth.
literally just looked at that picture of him. I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, so he was eating some walnuts or something in like some ranch after he was raided, and he was talking about Epstein, and he was like, "Look, don't be surprised if Epstein doesn't survive his sentence. Don't be surprised if he doesn't survive 2 or 3 years. It's everyone's better off if Epstein's no longer around or doesn't have the ability to talk." And then he's eating these walnuts, and I was sitting there looking at Sean Hannity or it might have been Tucker Carlson or one of these dudes talking to him, and I was like, that's a scary dude in a certain way, because he's the type of guy that when you watch villain movies and there are these corrupt politicians that says, you know what, if that entire village doesn't want to get with the program, just eradicate the entire village. We'll go with the usual tsunami, something. That's the type of evil Roger Stone is. Like Stephen Miller wishes he was Roger Stone, because Roger Stone is actually cool about it. He can get fly and stuff like that, wearing his $3,000 Prada and Gucci glasses and stuff like that. So, in that aspect, all three of them spoke in terms of they were concerned for Jeffrey Epstein now that he's in a prison cell. And their concern was they don't know if he survives 1 year or 2 years. But none of them gave the possibility, and they spoke frank about it, that no, there is no way Jeffrey Epstein is going to live out his sentence. There is no way he's going to live and be able to talk, because he's already sending signals that if y'all don't get him out of here and he doesn't get a pardon, he's going to start blowing the whistle on everybody. And that's where you first, like, really, really heard an inference of this. Well, not first, but it was really, really emphasized and confirmed that this so-called mystery list that was spoke of in the Sweetheart deal was actually real, because Epstein was kind of saying that I have it all, and I have it all tucked away safe. And people were like, well, is it a list? Is it a black book? Is it like, what is it?
AC, like I didn't screenshot it, but in the files there is like a whole room, and this is the reporter Michael Wolff. He's talked about how he would do interviews with Epstein, and Epstein would walk to like a safe and open it, and it would be like a whole like binders and folders, and he reach in and pull out like a fold of pictures, and some of them were Donald Trump. Like in the files, there's a picture of a closeted area with a door with like a reinforced lock on it, and it's a whole bunch of files up and down the wall in like neat little packets attached to attached to like steel shelves on the wall.
Bro, you got to think, what would make you're in the legal profession, right? You're a second generation person in the legal profession. Could you see your moms or yourself working with a client to the point you feel it necessary to record your client's conversations and keep receipts?
Never.
What does that make? How does that make you feel about client attorney privilege?
My mother don't work for everybody.
But I'm just saying, like,
I'm telling you, like, her mouth is it's the worst mouth ever, AC. I'm telling you. She will cuss you all the way to your great grandparents. Like, she's a professional arguer.
No, I can only imagine, bro. I can only imagine. So the point I'm saying is you got Michael Cohen, who compiled evidence against his boss, and his boss called you the fixer. That is the craziest part of people who have long-term relationships with Donald Trump and Jeffrey Epstein.
Scholar a term. Wrap up so I can give Scholar a turn.
No,
you got a little bit more.
I've been wrapped it up. I was just laughing about it.
Mm-hmm.
That's it.
No, absolutely. I agree with everything you say, 1,000%. All those boys knew what was going down, and Epstein right here was trying. Like, this is what you call like a death rattle. Like, Epstein knows he's caught in the Bear Grylls. He's caught in the trap, but he's like he's trying to force some type of energy out of himself. He knows he's caught.
Yeah.
But he right here is letting it be known, I'm not gonna die without a fight.
And that's what's got him.
Get me up out of here, Trump. Get me out of here. Like, that's what I feel. But Boxing Scholar, coming to you, what's your reaction to this insane letter?
Emails, Russia. Fake news. Yeah, it's obvious. I mean,
Is
if you,
it?
But you know what's crazy, Marky? I always bring this up, bro, and it just blows my mind, bro. I really can't wrap my mind around this. The fact that, like, in regards to boxing, there's always these conspiracies, right? Like boxing is scripted, and you'd have to have been in a ring before to understand how difficult boxing would have to like you would have to agree to take a punch upside the head, potentially be damaged. Like, no, it's not like it's not a reality. But they still come up with conspiracies. And here we have something that a conspiracy that actually would lean more towards to the truth. It's so what do you call it? It's so polarizing, this conspiracy, that before the directors of the FBI, before the directors of the FBI, what do you call it? Got their positions, they were jumping on this conspiracy head first.
The director, the director, Cash Patel, and
The
the
Bongino.
former deputy director who just quit.
Yeah, exactly. If there was ever like a more telltale sign to that, that he's jumping off of a burning ship, like that would be it, in my opinion. Like he got some information, bro. That he knew he couldn't like shake, bro. And I think he's the only one over there with a soul and fear of consequences. The rest of those guys operate like they're untouchable. And it's just
who you talking about, Cash
like I said,
or Dan
man.
Bongino? Who you talking about, Cash or Dan?
Cash is still working for him. Dan retired or stepped down. And it's so funny that when it's before, like right when the peak of the Epstein pressure, he was like, yeah, I'm thinking about resigning. Like, bro, you just got there a year. Like, it's obvious. It's obvious why you're resigning. You remember on Boys in the Hood, when they were going to go get revenge, and Trey was like, hey, no, let me out the car, man. That's equivalent. That's equivalent to what he did. Let me out the car, man. So I mean, it's obvious, bro. Like, but you know what I'm realizing though, a lot of people don't give a damn anymore. Like, if this was 2000s, somebody would have like at least pretended to care, try to do a prosecution, or like they don't care, bro. I think Trump's realized that. Remember the statement that he made? I think I can go out there and murder somebody broad daylight and get away with it.
Yeah.
He said this, bro. Like, it's documented. And he's living it now. So it's just so frustrating, Marky.
I think he's doing this because he has a Republican majority, a shrinking Republican majority, because one of the House Republicans just died. And now Marjorie Taylor Greene is leaving.
No, she left.
Yeah, you're right. She left on the 4th. Yep. So now their majority has shrunk from 220 to 218, which is right at that's the minimum for a majority in the House. So the Democrat, and now you're bombing other countries. You're drip feeding Epstein files that just have the most insane shit ever said about any sitting president ever. I defy somebody to find me a comparison, but we moving on. Another piece of evidence. This is a cross examination, some testimony from this is an alleged Epstein. Well, no, not an alleged. She was an Epstein victim, and she's going under the pseudonym Jane Doe to protect her identity. Cause what they call it, AC, the grape shield laws or something like that that protects victims. But I'm gonna read it. It says, question, and you applied to Juilliard, and I believe this is the prosecution cross-examining her. It says, question, and you applied to Juilliard, correct? Answer, no, I did not. You were referred to professional children's school by the dean of Juilliard, or excuse me, the dean of admissions for Juilliard, correct? I don't remember who referred her, or excuse me, who referred. Question, Mr. Epstein introduced you to Donald Trump, correct? Answer, correct. Question, he took you to Mar-a-Lago, right? Right. Question, when you were 14, you claim.
Answer, yes. He took you in a dark green car. Answer, yes. And you met Donald Trump there, correct? Answer, yes. And this continues to follow a pattern of young women being trafficked out of Mar-a-Lago. Virginia Giuffre, who Donald Trump earlier this year, when asked about it, said, asked about why he threw Epstein out, he said, he hired help, he hired help, he hired help. Oh man, I struggle to do the Trump voice. But Virginia Giuffre was trafficked by Ghislaine Maxwell out of the Mar-a-Lago spa. And now, in the trial of Ghislaine Maxwell, we find out another young lady has been trafficked out of Mar-a-Lago spa when she was 14 years old. Yo, Boxer Scholar, did you hear what I said?
Nah.
Well, I'll just read the highlighted part one more time. It says, question, Mr. Epstein, and this is the prosecution questioning her in the trial of Ghislaine Maxwell. Question, Mr. Epstein introduced you to Donald Trump, correct? Answer, correct. Question, he took you to Mar-a-Lago, right? Answer, right. Question, when you were 14, you claim. Answer, yes. Question, he took you in a dark green car. Answer, yes. Question, and you met Donald Trump there, correct? Answer, correct. So right there, in black and white, this adds, well, we don't know this young lady's name, obviously, because she's under a pseudonym, but it adds it adds to the tally of another Epstein victim that was trafficked out of the Mar-a-Lago spa. And I'm gonna come to you, AC, for your reaction if you have any.
Basically, I'm gonna keep it real simple.
Actually, as a matter of fact, I want to continue because I have the final piece of information I want to give. Then I'm gonna go mum. But I just want to connect this quickly. Alan Dershowitz, AC, who me and AC we've been talking about. We've had a lot of conversations about. In this New York Times article, which explains where Epstein got his fortune from. He got his fortune from Les Wexner, who was the CEO and founder of Victoria's Secrets. And Les Wexner gave Epstein a power of attorney in, I believe, 1989 to oversee all his banks and affairs. And Epstein was just out there buying mansions in South Beach and cars and paying for women. And then I bring this up because later on it talks about Alan Dershowitz, who there is no doubt in my mind, Alan Dershowitz was out here graping some of these young women. There's no doubt in my mind. And it says right here, and it talks about Orrin Kramer, who was running a hedge fund for Bear Stearns, I believe back in the early 2000s. It said that Dershowitz was investing in that hedge fund, but Kramer's hedge fund soon suffered calamitous losses, and Dershowitz's six-figure investment was annihilated. Epstein demanded that Kramer make Dershowitz whole and threatened to make his life miserable if he refused. So there, right there, we have verifiable, independent information that Jeffrey Epstein was stepping in the gap for Alan Dershowitz. And many people believe Alan Dershowitz, using his political connections, you heard what I said earlier about my mother being the keeper of secrets on this island. Alan Dershowitz is the keeper of some secrets up there in the States as a big-time attorney. And I think that's how he got the sweetheart deal. But I move on and I bring up Alan Dershowitz because this is Virginia Giuffre's statement after she made the decision to drop her suit for defamation and sexual abuse to Alan Dershowitz. She said, quote, "I have believed that I was trafficked by Jeffrey Epstein to Alan Dershowitz. She said, however, I was very young at the time. It was a very stressful and traumatic environment. And Mr. Dershowitz has from the beginning consistently denied these allegations. I now recognize I may have made a mistake in identifying Mr. Dershowitz. This litigation has been very stressful and burdensome for me and my family, and we believe it is time to bring it to an end and move on with our lives." I bring that up because 5 years before Virginia Giuffre launched this suit in 2019, or excuse me, 4 years before she launched this suit. This is an email between Alan Dershowitz and Virginia Giuffre's lawyer 4 years before she sued him. And it says here, and this is Alan Dershowitz, it says, we should be aiming at a short, simple statement such as, quote, the events at issue occurred approximately 15 years ago when I was a teenager. Although I believed then and continue to believe that AD was the person with whom I had sex with, recent developments raise the possibility that this may be a case of mistaken identification. Alternate, there may be someone else that someone may, blah, blah, blah. You get the point. That's almost verbatim. Or essentially, that's essentially paraphrasing what Virginia Giuffre said exactly after she dropped her suit against this man. And we know this man was one of Jeffrey Epstein's best friends. And we know Alan Dershowitz probably introduced Bill Clinton to Jeffrey Epstein. We know all this information based on the birthday book. And now we have it in verify. We have this. And then 3 years later, after she came out with the book exposing more people, Virginia Giuffre unalives herself. A young lady who was trafficked out of the Mar-a-Lago spa. Okay, that's the last piece of information I wanted to present. I just want to get y'all's reactions. Because somebody has to go to jail. And somebody, like these young ladies that had this happen to them, bro. Like I've heard some people say, oh, well, that's what they get for being money grubbing or for not listening to their mothers and fathers. What the fuck is wrong with you?
Yeah, people are stupid.
Like somebody, like you need your fucking ass kicked for anybody to try and make excuses. But go ahead, AC. Let me get your thoughts.
I was gonna say it like this real fast. There were the rumors that Donald Trump's involvement with Jeffrey Epstein also goes to him being a possible groomer like Ghislaine Maxwell. Because if you go back to it, remember, he inserted himself, made it an issue that he run these young girl pageants. Remember those? The ones where he walks.
As a man, I'm so glad you brought that up, AC, because this episode would have ended and I wouldn't have played this clip. I'm so sorry. I'm glad you brought up the pageant.
Go ahead, play it.
I just want to play this.
A past interview with Howard Stern now making headlines. Trump talking about how he had free reign at his beauty pageants.
I'll go backstage before a show. Yes. And everyone's getting dressed and ready. And I'm allowed to go in because I'm the owner of the pageant and therefore I'm inspecting it. Is everyone okay? You know, they're standing there with no clothes. Is everybody okay? And you see these incredible looking women. And so I sort of get away with things like that.
Today, a former Miss Arizona who calls herself a conservative going public in an interview with KCBS describing what she says happened backstage with Trump at a Miss USA pageant.
Our first introduction to him was when we were at the dress rehearsal and half naked changing into our bikinis.
Tasha Dixon detailing her discomfort.
To have the owner come waltzing in when we're naked or half naked in a very physically vulnerable position, and then to have the pressure of the people that work for him telling us to go fawn all over him, go walk up to him, talk to him, get his attention.
She describes feeling helpless.
Who do you complain to? He owns the pageant. So there's no one to complain to. Everyone there works for him.
Who do we complain to? Everyone there works for him. He owns the place. Doesn't that sound like a pattern of somebody else, AC?
Yeah, so at the end of the day, you had that funnel between some of those young girls and them being invited to Mar-a-Lago, them working in Mar-a-Lago, and them getting other job opportunities in other Trump properties. So if there's a deep dive, and that deep dive may be in the parts of the files that they don't want released. But at the end of the day, when you look at Donald Trump and how he's operated, and you're seeing there's more and more ties to Jeffrey Epstein, and then you see how when it came to these pageants, Donald Trump inserted himself into that. He was actually putting out public bids so he can be in charge of that. And at the time, he was like, no, it's just Trump loves beautiful women. And I want to do everything I possibly can to make sure, these beautiful women are shown in the best light. And this, you know how he starts to talk with all of that weird hyperbole. And even back then, I was like, yo, that sounds creepy as hell. Like, who's like, I mean, come on. You know what I'm saying? And I think what it was, it Bob Barker, the dude from Price is Right, or if it's not, I can't remember the other hosts, Chuck Willery or Bob Barker. One of these two dudes, had a huge stake in these jump offs, and Donald Trump had a relationship with one of them, and that's how he was getting in and being able to meet the big wigs and doing what he was trying to do to buy him out and stuff like that. There was a whole mini documentary and whole storyline of how they tried to portray it back then as Donald Trump saving the Miss America beauty pageant or some weird shit like that. Excuse my language. But it was just something weird like that. Like, my memory is foggy about it, but I do remember, news media and, maybe it might have been the E show or some shows like that. They were all doing these things trying to praise Donald Trump for saving Miss America. And that's even when the National Enquirer had their TV show. So it was just weird around that time. I don't really get it, because it's a pageant that doesn't make money. So if you're all about making money, what are you doing? So that was just that little weirdness with it. But at the end of the day, man, it's all of these things that tied this dude into that, and whatever's deeply in those Epstein files that he's willing to do all of this about, it must be something that's just
And I don't think that their decision to go ahead and get Maduro, I don't think sending Stephen Miller to go on TV and talk about we need to take Greenland and who's gonna stop us, and then they deciding to invade Minneapolis, and then this poor lady getting gunned down. I don't think that any of this is separate, AC.
No.
I have to I agreed with you already about there being distractions, but I just I cannot believe that it would be this level of criminality. I thought it might be something maybe a fire, like a wildfire, or a bridge collapsing or something, but to just gun people down, invade countries, and snatch people up, having idiots like Stephen Miller up there talking about invading a NATO ally. It has to be the Epstein. It has to be a distraction for the Epstein files. Cause did you just hear the crazy shit I just read?
Yeah, and at the end of the day,
let one of these things come out about a Barack Obama during his term.
Bro, the crazy thing is if you look at where everything was, you was collapsing on the Epstein file. Old girl just wins her election. You feel what I'm saying? You then say, okay, we'll do this as the distraction. And then when that doesn't work, let's up it and see if we can get the distraction with Kirk. That doesn't work. I'm sending military into cities. That doesn't work. 2 guardsmen get unalived. That doesn't work. We're gonna take these drug boats out. That doesn't work. Well, now we're gonna take tankers. That doesn't work. Well, now we're just gonna invade the country. That is not working. At the end of the day, nothing you're trying is stopping the movement of having these files come out. The more you try to hinder it, the greater the need for it becomes, because people are now asking the question, even on your side, what the hell are you hiding? Just release the damn thing. If you ain't got nothing to do with it, just release it. Oh, well, now we can't release it because we found a whole nother million to maybe 5 million documents. The reason why Dan Bongino left is because whatever you originally had, or whatever you had, he said he's seen it. He said he read it. He was talking crap when he was saying it early on. And then when he really seen it and read it, you didn't hear anything from Don. Then the only thing you hear from the man is, I'm thinking about retiring. I'm thinking about stepping down. I'd rather go back into the area where I'm paid to say the things that I'm saying. It doesn't damage who I am. It doesn't damage nothing. Now I could possibly build on that, because now, guess what? I was there in the administration. I can tell you what I seen and what I didn't see. So yeah, he's just gave himself a whole bunch of
Bro, the
credibility.
fact, and the brother in the chat just said it, bro. Donald Trump was the villain in so many movies in the 80s and 90s. I remember when Elmo did a whole, Elmo brought in Joey Pesci, and they talked about, what was his name? Donald Slump, like destroying Sesame Street and building like an oil factory or something. Like, and we put that guy in office.
Twice.
Just in disbelief.
Twice. After being the only
Like, the
president.
children that grew up watching that stuff, AC, made the decision to put this guy in office.
But this is why people got warped perspectives of politics, because they don't know what existed before Obama. You could read about Bill Clinton, but by the time you came into political age of voting, you might have been there for Obama's first term, the tail end of Bill Clinton. So you come into your political vote with the country going through a recession. And then you get Trump. So young people are screwed up. I get it. It's up to the OGs to, to tell them, remember your history. Go back, choose a genre that you may like, and then start from there and move your way up. This will give you a great understanding of how we got here right now. But outside of that, man, it's just, you can't make this stuff up. And to watch someone destroy a country in a way that he didn't even intend on destroy. He was just going to pilfer the country with money and make deals and stuff like that. You feel what I'm saying? This was all a money grab for him, and to be able to stay out of jail. And accumulate so much wealth that he probably feels he can buy his way out of whatever jail sentence they were going to try to put him in. So at the end of the day, now that these Epstein files became something that he BS people about, and then, held that carrot on the stick in front of people, and then when everybody got some real momentum off of it, you decide to pull a carrot and eat the carrot yourself and be like, Well, there was never anything there. This is all a hoax. You betrayed your entire movement. And along with Democrats, your entire movement is saying release these things. And what are you going to do after all your failed attempts? You just keep trying to up the stakes. You just keep trying. The 31st, the 30-day issue come out. Now you want to take boats and now invade the country. Like, nobody's buying it. We don't believe you. Please don't kill no more people. That's where we at it. You don't need more people. You need to stop killing people for this. And just release the files. Because there is no way, when all of this is said and done and history is way past you, and the historians are going to look back at this time, and everybody's going to start to do these investigations that are 10, 20 years out of where you are. The crazy thing is that they're going to uncover all of these connections of these unalivements and stage shootings and stuff like that. And history is just going to say that you were willing to kill your own, start a war to keep your nose clean from these Epstein files or prevent these things from coming out. That's going to be your legacy, bro. Hands down, that's what I believe. I'll land that plane right there.
I agree 1,000%, my brother. Thank you so much for pulling up, AC. Salute to everybody in the chat. Skeletor, thank you for pulling up. I really appreciate you. My brother Boxing Scholar, BVO pulled up earlier. Jay Gibson, the chat. My brother Bulbous, I always see you around, my brother. You already know it's all love. Everybody that came through, I appreciate all of you. My brother Sean, Tommy from the Bronx. If I miss your name, once again, I appreciate you so much. We talk this good politics, man. You know, I love talking politics. I am a history buff. I am somebody, like, I can literally just get lost in entire chapters of in entire periods of history. But as I got older, I realized, man, politics is real history, or not even just politics in itself, but paying attention to the news. I'm not gonna say it's fun for me, but I love just finding new facts and learning facts as it's happening, and reading investigative articles into this corrupt company's practices, and like, that's just my thing. And I don't know what can be done to get everybody else on that level of being informed through real credible sources of information. I feel like everybody is stuck in an algorithm, and people don't really know where to get their information from. Like, I'm gonna come up here, I'm gonna always give you the unadulterated facts of the situation, and then me and AC will give you the our perspectives and opinions on it. Matter of fact, D Free, are you available? If you're available, D Free, I don't know if you, well, I want to get your thoughts on that on what happened in Minneapolis. But if it can be tonight, we'll just have it some other week, D Free. But I appreciate you for pulling up, D Free. But once again, man, prayers out for this young lady, Miss Renee Nicole Good. Okay, D Free, you are available. D Free, I want your perspective on this before we go. So hold on, AC. Don't go nowhere, AC. 1 second. Yeah. I don't know if you've seen this video, Free. And then we'll get your thoughts on what's going on in Venezuela. And then we can head out. D Frizzle.
Yeah.
How you doing, D Free?
I'm chilling. What's good?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I just wanted you to come up for a sec. We just had a tragic incident take place in Minneapolis with one of these ICE agents that we've been talking about so much. And one of the themes of when we bring it up, you always say these people are untrained and they are going to hurt somebody. And it happened today. And I just want your thoughts on this. You can see the video?
No, I didn't see it.
Hold on a second. Let me try it again.
No! No! Shame! Shame! Oh my fucking God! What the fuck? What the fuck? You just fucking, what the fuck did you do?
They are already trying to spin this as an action of self-defense. Having seen the video of myself, I want to tell everybody directly, that is bullshit. This was an agent recklessly using power that resulted in somebody dying, getting killed. There's little I can say, again, that'll make this situation better, but I do have a message for our community, for our city, and I have a message for ICE. To ICE, get the fuck out of Minneapolis. We do not want you here. Your stated reason for being in this city is to create some kind of safety, and you are doing exactly the opposite.
But I don't know if you saw the video right there, but it was essentially ICE agents were blocking a road in Minneapolis, and they were going car to car, questioning people, asking for their documents, which is just insane and illegal. Then this lady did a U-turn. She was coming in their direction and tried to get away, and they rushed her car. And as she was pulling away, the ICE agent pulled his another ICE agent pulled his weapon and shot her in the head twice.
Wow. Yeah. Somebody's gonna have to answer for that. They can't. When it comes to an officer, you can't, in particular, not even so much an officer, you can't say self-defense and use lethal, I'm trying to think of the word that we use.
Lethal force?
Lethal force, unless your life is actually being threatened. No one's life was being threatened. A person was just trying to get away. They wasn't about to run nobody over. They wasn't about to hit anybody with a car. They were just trying to make a U-turn and get out of whatever was going on there. I mean, that's just like if the police was doing a sobriety test and they were stopping everybody car, checking, make sure you got registration and everything, and somebody do a U-turn in the middle of the street and they pull out their weapon and start shooting. There's no justification for that. You can't just pull your weapon out and use lethal force. There's steps before you get to that. Everybody has rules that you have to follow, as well as the police officers themselves. There's steps that you go through before you get to that. Like I said, no one's life was in danger, so it was no need for them to pull out their firearm and open fire. That's you might as well say they just opened fire on a person that was just sitting in the car, whether the car was moving or not moving. You just opened fire on a person that was sitting in the car. So no, they whoever did that needs to be placed in jail. They need to be placed in jail and be convicted or be charged as a not a manslaughter, as a murder. They need to be charged as a murder, because that's exactly
So I agree. I agree 1,000%. But the Department of Homeland Security, the Secretary of Department of Homeland Security, Christine Noem, she came out like a couple hours after this happened. There hasn't even been an investigation yet. Like usually when this stuff happens and they're at a press conference and they ask the head of an agency, "Hey, what happened here?" "Oh, we're investigating. I don't have a statement at this time." She came out and said that
oh, our agents were being surrounded by hundreds of protesters, and one domestic terrorist tried to use. She called this lady a domestic terrorist. She said a domestic terrorist tried to ram their agent with tried to ram an ICE agent with their car, and they responded with lethal force.
Well, I mean, she can
I,
say whatever she want to say. Video shows what actually happened. It doesn't matter what she says. Video shows what happened. So that
yeah,
family, I mean, I'm almost certain lawyers are going to be hitting that family up. They're going to be bombarding their phones, their mailboxes with trying to get that case because that's an open and shut case right there. That is a murder on video. That's a murder on video. So I mean, I don't
even if
care.
the
I don't care
feds,
what you say. They have a lawsuit, and that ICE agent needs to be placed under arrest and needs to be charged on murder charges.
I agree. And even if the FBI will not move on this man because they're deeply corrupt and will do whatever Trump tells them to do, the Minnesota Bureau of Investigations is investigating. So this man will have state murder charges, and he will be going to jail very soon. So I hope to see it. There is no cause to be acting like this. This man, not only that, ICE is not allowed to walk up to U.S. citizens and ask them nothing. In federal statute, it says plainly that ICE is not allowed to detain, question, or arrest or deport U.S. citizens. So they had no right. All of these people that they were blocking and going up to their cars and asking for identification, that by itself is illegal.
Yeah, that's illegal
And then this
because
poor lady, she had a right to drive off. She's a U.S. citizen.
now if they're not actual police officers, so technically they can't stop your vehicle. They're not actual police officers. So I mean, no police officer can just walk up to a person and say, "I need to see your identification." You can just walk off. They can't just walk up to you and say, "I need to see your identification." They have to have a reason why they need your identification. You have to be wanted, or you have to be accused of some type of crime, or wanted for questioning for some type of crime.
You
They can't
remember
just
you
walk up
remember
to
we
you.
were having a conversation about Bad Bunny and Bad Bunny at the Super Bowl, and you said why Donald Trump sending ICE to the Super Bowl, and I told you the Supreme Court, they had a, well, it's not a permanent ruling, but they came out with a temporary ruling that said ICE can walk up to people based on their skin color, based on their accents, how they talk, and question them and ask for identification.
No, they
So
can't.
but I mean, if you're a U.S. citizen, like, I
It,
don't have to give you
it doesn't.
nothing.
I'm gonna tell you why. I'm gonna tell you why they can't do it. Because how do you know that a person is not a U.S. citizen? You can't tell by looking at a person that they're a U.S. citizen or not. So they,
He
they
was
can't
talking
just walk.
Spanish, Your Honor.
It doesn't matter. I know a lot of American citizens that talk fluent Spanish.
There's a whole island of them, the free Puerto Ricans.
No, I'm not even talking about Puerto Ricans. I'm talking about people that was born here. Their first language was English, but they talk fluent Spanish. You would, if they talk to you in Spanish, you wouldn't even know that they knew English. That's how fluent they are in Spanish. You wouldn't even know that they knew English, but they are 100% American. They born black, raised in a black urban area, went to normal schools, never had a translator or anything like that. They just learned Spanish
Hey,
and they
bro,
can speak very fluent.
I'm one of those dudes that even when I go into the bodegas and I speak Spanish to those dudes, they ask me, am I Dominican, Honduran, Puerto Rican? My girl, my missus will say, listen, he's got a better accent than me, and don't let the man cook. So at the end of the day, you feel what I'm saying? So
No. I got a
At the
nephew.
end of the day,
I'm not
yeah,
a
I know
nephew.
exactly what he talking about.
No, I got a little cousin. He's about, well, he's not little anymore, but when he was 9 years old, he took different languages in school. He speaks fluent in Swahili. He's the only black person I know that was born in America. His mother and father is both Americans. He's a a regular black kid. He speaks fluent in Swahili. This man was counting to 100 in Swahili at 9 years old. He speaks fluent in Swahili. But that was something that he wanted to learn. He wanted to learn Swahili. I don't know why, but that's what he wanted to learn. He liked the language. He wanted to learn. So his mother sent him to school to take classes for it. He speaks fluent in Swahili. So it's just looking at a person, you can't tell whether they're American or they're foreign. You have to have identification to prove that they're American or foreign. So you can't just walk up to anybody and say, "Let me see your identification." I can tell you right now, come around the metropolitan area in DC, Maryland, or Virginia and say, "Let me see your identification." I guarantee you, you will get 100. Every single person you walk up to will walk right past you because most people in this area know the rights. They know the rights. And they know that you can't just walk up to me and ask me for identification. You have to have a reason for that.
D Free, you being somebody, I think I heard you speak Spanish on the live before, and you being obviously a black Puerto Rican with sons and daughters, viewing that clip and with the information I told you that they're discriminating based on skin color and accents, how could you how could you better prepare your family or your community for individuals like this who are lawless and just don't give a f?
Oh, my family already know what their rights are. That's one thing that we always told them. And majority of my kids, I got two sons, a daughter that also do security, so they know their rights. So and my younger kids, they in school and they talk to their brothers, they talk to me or whatever. They talk to their grandmother and their aunts and uncles. So all you can tell a person is you have to know what your rights are. And I'm not worried about if somebody walking to my kid or whatever like that because they're Americans. They were born and raised. Well, my two oldest sons were born in New York. All three of my daughters were born down here in the DC area. So they're Americans. There is no doubt about it. My stepkids, they all was born in DC. They're Americans. There's no doubt about it. Um, so it's when you have situations like that, it's really not so much. They're not going. They don't really walk up to black people like that. It's more so the Latinos is the ones that really got to worry about it. It's more so the Latinos, the whites, the blacks, and typically the Asians don't really have to worry about it so much. It's more so the Latinos. Those are the ones that they really targeted. They're targeting the Latinos. So when it comes to the Latino community, they got to know what their rights are. They got to learn their rights. If you here illegally, you better learn what the rights are, and you better try to get your paperwork in order. If you here legally, keep your paperwork on you and learn what your rights are, because they cannot just walk up to you and ask you for identification. And if you see them in the area, first thing, if I was a Latino or I was somebody that I saw that these guys was in the area and they was questioning people, first thing I would do was call the local police department. I'll call the local police department.
Yep, and but by the way, local PD, they didn't arrest the individual. I think the individual actually left the scene. The individual that in this picture right here, who's masked, who shot her. But the police officers did render first aid and tried to get her to the hospital, where she was later declared dead. Uh,
So tragic times. I feel terrible for that young lady and her family. Like there was no need for none of that at all whatsoever. And I think it's on the back of trying to distract from
But
things like
I
the
knew something
Epstein.
like this was going to happen. I knew something like this was going to happen because I can tell by how they moved. They were sloppy. They were just doing things uncharacteristic of a law enforcement. Law enforcement don't move the way these guys was moving. That's how I know they wasn't properly trained. These were like individuals that was just hired to do that job. They don't look like individuals that was trained in law enforcement. They look like individuals that was just
D
hired to
free.
do that job. Some of those guys
D
might have been former security officers.
D. Didn't we talk about this months ago, where we
Yes,
was both saying, "Yo, when you look at them, when you look at how they hold their, their firearm, they don't hold it in a manner that says they were properly trained." We were looking at the video of where they did that little raid of all of those people at Home Depot, and one of the dudes, and this is what made me think something was weird, because the dudes had silencers on their long guns, and I'm like, what type of domestic law enforcement agency even performs operations with a silencer on your long arm?
I think that might
yeah,
be illegal.
yeah. I'm about to say silencers are illegal. You can't have a silencer on your weapon. That's illegal. You can't even you can't even legally go to a firearm store and purchase one. That's something that's done on the black market. That's something that you purchase on the black market. You can't, there's no
Yo,
firearm store that you can
so these
purchase.
were when I was looking at the for me when I was looking at the early raids, I was looking at the weaponry that they was pointing in people's faces. Last resort weaponry, first resort usage. And when I was looking at these weapons, I'm like, why do you have silencers on your joints? Why do you have silencers on your joint with military camouflage casing over it?
Yeah,
Who are
silencers.
these people? You
The
cannot tell
only,
me you're a federal agent and you got that.
the only people that are allowed to use silencers are special armed forces because they go on special missions and they try to be discreet about what they're doing. That's where the whole silencers came from. It came from special armed forces, and they was using that when they were doing their mission. And but of course, stuff that's used in the military, it makes its way to the streets, and so that's where the silencers came from. So those are the only people that are allowed to use those.
Man, I've seen ATF up close,
Yeah,
and I
those
ain't
are
never seen
considered they
ATF with a
consider special
silencer
armed
on
forces.
they jump off.
Yeah, they're considered special armed forces. ATF is considered special armed forces because they go on a lot of missions to take down DEA
Yeah, but what I'm
agents
saying
I
in
think
a
I
in a
think
dom-
ATF might have been involved in the Venezuela raid along with DEA agents.
what I'm
Yeah,
saying is even when I've seen and you've seen video footage of ATF involved in a domestic situation, there were no silencers.
no, no,
Everybody's gun barks.
no. See, the first thing a law enforcement is taught is to de-escalate. That's the first thing that they're taught. They're taught to de-escalate. Lethal force is the last method. That's the last method of every training, far as law enforcement, security, bodyguards, whatever you want to, whatever thing that deals with law enforcement. That is the last method. That is not the first method. That is not the second method. That is the last method. And the only time it's the first method or the second method is if your life is in danger or someone else's life is in danger. That's the only time that you can use lethal force as your first or second method. Other than that, you're trained to de-escalate the situation If you can't de-escalate, then you take the next step. There are steps that you go by. It's not you automatically pull your weapon and you use it. That's not part of your training. That's why you see so many police officers when they do use a firearm. The first thing that happens is they get put on either unpaid leave or they get put on paid leave until they finish doing the investigation, because they have to investigate every situation, because if it's something that you did wrong, then the charges will be brought against you. But if it was something that that you did properly, then you will be reinstated back onto the force. But that's why every law enforcement, anytime they use a firearm, the first thing they do is put them on leave. It might be paid leave or it might be unpaid leave, depending on the situation. But they put them on leave.
Another thing that ATF agents and federal agents I know in general, federal workers in general I know, they don't wear masks. And I hear this thing all the time. Well, ICE agents are in danger. People are going to find their home addresses and threaten their families. Like
I'm gonna tell you.
we had the trial of El Chapo a couple years ago, and the judge's family, his daughter who was going to Rhodes University, got threatened. He didn't get to put on a mask and be a secret judge.
The
Like,
only
this
time
shit is scary.
The only time law enforcement wear masks like that is if they want their disguise hidden, because some of them might be doing undercover missions and things like that, so they don't want that officer disguise to be known. So they will allow him to wear masks, or they will allow those individuals to wear masks. That's the only time you will see law enforcement wear masks, because they want their identity discreet. Because, like I said, some of them might be doing undercover work. Some of them might be doing spy work. So they will allow those officers, if they're going in to take down the individual, they will allow those officers to wear masks. But majority of the time, officers don't wear masks. There's no reason to hide your identity. There's no reason to. Everybody knows you're law enforcement. No reason to hide your identity.
Yeah. Before we go D free, I am certain you heard about what happened over this weekend in Venezuela. We invaded Caracas, and we snatched up Venezuela's dictator Nicolas Maduro along with his wife, and we have brought them to the United States of America to face trial for charges of narco terrorism. According to U.S. officials, 75 civilians died from subsequent U.S. strikes and shelling in Caracas on civilian infrastructure. So that could be war crimes all by itself. This 75 total adds to the already 80 plus deaths that have been reported in the Caribbean from Trump also illegally bombing boats. We then hear about them discussing blockading Venezuela. Obviously, they're trying to say that they're gonna go in there and get the oil. But Nicolas Maduro's regime is still in place. Like, it's not like they went in there and cleared shop like what we did in Afghanistan and Iraq. Like, they kept his regime in place, and they're giving Trump their ass to kiss. Then, after all that hullabaloo, the administration comes out and says that we need Greenland. Why the hell can't we just go after Greenland? I mean, it's a great piece of property. And this is Stephen Miller, somebody who, if I saw Stephen Miller in real life, I would put hands on him. I would really do something to him. But this is Stephen Miller, the Deputy Chief of Staff for the White House, discussing Greenland, as well as Lindsey Graham, Senator, discussing discussing Cuba as well as Iran.
We live in a world in which you can talk all you want about international niceties and everything else, but we live in a world, in the real world, Jake, that is governed by strength, that is governed by force, that is governed by power. These are the iron laws of the world that have existed since the beginning of time. The real question is, by what right does Denmark assert control over Greenland? What is the basis of their territorial claim? The United States should have Greenland as part of the United States. There's no need to even think or talk about this in the context that you're asking of a military operation. Nobody's going to fight the United States militarily over the future of Greenland.
You just wait for Cuba. Cuba is a communist dictatorship that's killed priests and nuns. They've preyed on their own people. Their days are numbered. We're going to wake up one day, I hope in 26, in our backyard, we're going to have allies in these countries doing business with America, not narco-terrorist dictators killing Americans.
I pray and hope that 2026 will be the year that we make Iran great again.
So, and this is 7 days after Trump said he wanted world peace.
But I just got to ask.
This is the Nobel Peace Prize guy.
I just have to ask this question. Do they really think people, including the courts, are that fucking stupid? Because I'm going to ask the guy here that's really involved in law enforcement.
Blue prize fighter.
I'm going to ask this question. Is there a such word as narco terrorist dictators? Like, I'm going to put that on a charge. I'm going to charge him with being a narco dictator terrorist.
I know there's drug conspiracy charges.
Okay. So why are you using, 1980 Channel 5 and Channel 9, TV show, police TV show words? Like he's a dirty narco terrorist. Who the fuck says narco in 2025? He's a dirty narco. Like, who says that? Like, are we not listening to how these people are talking and describing this? That's why I'm like,
that's why I want to hear what D3 got to say, because D3 is a veteran. I don't think D3 served in Desert Storm, but D3 is old enough. He's way older than me, but he's old enough to remember Dick Cheney. Like, at least Dick Cheney was smart enough to lie and say, we got to go do this for weapons of mass destruction. Donald Trump has come plainly out and said, we're there for the oil. We're there for the oil, baby. It's all about the oil. Like, I don't know, like somebody has to go to jail. Like, all this stuff about abuse, like, go ahead, Freak. Tell me what's your thoughts. But this is just amazing.
This is what they wanted to do from the very beginning. That's why they wanted Trump in office, because this is what they wanted to do from the very beginning. This was their whole plan. Their whole plan was to go invade certain countries to get the riches of those countries, and it was the oil. And this is one of the reasons why a lot of Democrats and a lot of people saying they didn't want Trump in office, because the stuff that he was telling everybody was bold-faced lies. And nobody, they're like, oh no, y'all just hating on him, he for the black. It had nothing to do about is he for the blacks or not. It was the fact that he was literally on those panels lying and telling y'all what he was going to do, and now everybody sees all this stuff that he said he was going to do was all lies. It was just to get back into the office so he could finish the job that he started when he was in there the first time. And now these people voted for him, and now they gotta sit here and deal with this for another 3 years. They gotta deal with this unless he end up getting impeached, which it will never happen. They're not going to impeach him. So I mean, they're going to have to deal with it.
No, I totally agree. I don't think he's gonna last another 8 months. I think God is gonna do us all a favor. At least I hope so. I don't wish that on anybody, but man, fuck it. Fuck Donald Trump. I think God is gonna do us all a favor very soon. The man eats McDonald's, he drinks sodas every goddamn day, he has cuts on his hands and his legs are swollen. Like I mean, it just would be beautiful if he just slipped on some mud or he fell down some steps. I don't think he would survive it. I'm just being very honest. But D Free, AC, my brother, it was great having y'all up here, man. We are at the 3 hour 45 minute mark. We talked some Epstein files. I wanna hear your thoughts on that too, D Free. But that's a lot. We went through a lot. Let me just hear your brief thoughts. We found out that a letter was written from Epstein to Larry Nasser, the prolific sexual predator who was the doctor, the athletic doctor at Michigan University. He molested I think it was over 300 girls. Well, Epstein wrote this man a letter. Oh, let me find it. Here it is right here. It's postmarked, signed by Jeffrey Epstein. And it says, dear Larry, dear LN, as you know by now, I have taken the short road home. Good luck. We shared one thing, our love and caring for young ladies and the hope they'd reach their full potential. Our president also shares our love of young, nubile girls. When a young beauty walked by, he loved to grab snatch, whereas we ended up snatching grub in the mess halls of the system. Life is unfair. Yours, Jeffrey Epstein. CNN confirmed that that letter did in fact come from that facility, and other outlets have confirmed that that is Jeffrey Epstein's handwriting. So it looks to me like Epstein was blackmailing Trump and letting him know, bro, I don't give a F what you got to do. Get me out of here now.
Yeah,
Or I'm bringing everybody down.
Well, Trump already told everybody he likes to grab women by that. So he told y'all just thought he was joking. But the man literally told y'all. Now you see a letter where the guy told you this is what he likes to do. He did it on a consistent basis. So, I mean, the saying goes, if somebody tells you or show you who they are, believe them. Y'all, a lot of people took it. Oh, he was just joking. He don't really do that and
I
all
don't
that.
understand. Like, you would not want Donald Trump to be your child's teacher. You would not want Donald Trump to be your boss. You would not want Donald Trump like anywhere near your life. Like, why would you want him to lead your country? I just don't understand these people. On top of all the other grab them by the you know what stuff. And this stuff. I mean, and it gets even crazier, Free. There's a letter, or excuse me, not a letter, a confidential informant reported to a FBI special agent that a young lady who I think he was who was the daughter of his child's mother by another person, she told him that Donald Trump raped her. And then this young lady, a couple weeks later, was dead in Oklahoma. She had her head blown off. And the coroner said it was a suicide, but right here, the confidential informant says that he says it's no way it could have been a suicide. And the police say it's no way it could have been a suicide. The way this girl had her head blown off. And the girl's mother gave like some BS story that she was getting cocaine from the cartel. And then years later, when this confidential informant tried to leak some of this stuff online, the mother called him back and said, "You're putting our family in danger." So she knew what happened to her daughter. That's just what it sounds like to me. But what's your thoughts on that before we close out?
Hey, it's some sick individuals, and when they very powerful individuals and they very important people, they do whatever they got to do that they cover their tracks. And this is what happens when you put certain people in power that abuse it. And unfortunately, that young lady lost her life. I don't know if it was a suicide or not. According to the reports, they don't believe that it was. And I'm quite sure the coroners and the people that deals with those bodies in the morgue, they do all the investigation to see the directions of the bullet and things like that. They would know better than I would. So if they don't believe that it was, then 9 times out of 10 it probably wasn't. But
Right, I understand.
it's crazy when you have these type of people in power and they do whatever they got to do to cover their tracks.
No, absolutely. It's a sick time we're living in, but they got more and more files coming out. Reports are saying they got over 3 million more files to come out. And it seems like the more information comes out, the worse Donald Trump looks. So I look forward to all of that. But my brothers, it was great having y'all up here. Smash the like button if you in the chat. Jay Gibson, thank you so much. Skeletora, everybody, AC, my brother Prize, D Frilio, thank you all for pulling up. I'm gonna try to go live next week, Wednesday, once again. We're gonna see what shakes out from this Venezuela situation, and we're gonna see what comes of that gentleman that unalived that young lady, Miss Nicole Renee Good. Rest in peace to her, and condolences to her family. I'm very sorry that happened to them. But once again, pull up next week, man. Peace, y'all.
Queen Mary, where you going, come on? Queen Mary, where you going, come on? Don't ask me nothing, child. Give me my channel. Bars and jailhouses where the money is. Don't ask me nothing, child. Just give me my channel. Bars and jailhouses where the money is. Where you going, come on? Back and belly, tell me where you going, come on? Don't ask me nothing, child. Just give me my channel. Bars and jailhouses where the money is. Don't ask me nothing, child. Just give me my channel. Bars and jailhouses where the money is. Where you going, come on? Back and belly, tell me where you going, come on? Don't ask me nothing, child. Just give me my channel. Bars and jailhouses where the money is. Don't ask me nothing, child. Just give me my channel. Bars and jailhouses where the money is.